Right, to the more familiar thing. I do need to change the guidelines because I can't change these things without being on the screen for them, which is a little bit iffy, but hey. Let's get these up. Away from that because that always distracts me. That's series 4. 12. A voice behind me. That's suitably creepy. And after that, we're going to go to series 3. Deus Ex Machina. Okie dokie. So we will mark that one as completed because we are going on to it. The usual thing applies with I'm keeping the redeems in a list. When I actually start reading them, I will mark them as complete and accept the points put in, just so that if there are ones that I don't read by the end of the stream, I can reject them and refund the points, but I'll keep them on the list so that they can basically be freebies at the start of the next stream. So. Thank you, Phoenix, for your contribution to the Warf Game Stream Challenge. From someone in chat saying 2000 is good, but I can't remember who. As far as I recall, basically all of the series starters, like the winners, are all good. That's kind of the gimmick of them. But like 5000, yes, SCP 5000 still remains one of my favourites. 5000 and the 001 proposal When Day Breaks. Those are probably my favourite SCPs. Favourite serious SCPs, because joke SCPs, nothing can topple the dual leaders of 666.5 and I can't remember what the other one is, but it's the little bunny that every SCP is afraid of. I love that one so much. Rising, going back to your roots as a support-based player, I just press buttons. That's all I do in Monster Hunter. I press buttons and I hope for a good outcome, and sometimes it works, apart from when I'm playing solo. That's why I don't play solo. Right. Move over here. Yeah. Always have to help out in Monster Hunter. Yeah, same. Well, happy to be helped out. I'm happy to join up. I can't do much helpful in Monster Hunter. Even with really good gear, I'm not that great. SCP where Wally from Jet Redeemer has become my favourite. Yeah, the Where's Wally one, that was really fucking creepy. Okay. By order of the Overseer Council, the following file describes a level 13 existential threat and is level 5/3812 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden. Yay. Item number 3812, level 5 top secret, containment class Cater, disruption class EKHI, risk class Danger. Okay, so we got a picture here of SCP-3812 appearing here as a policeman in riot gear as viewed through a Bronincant viewer. Let's open up that so people get to see that. Is that right? Yeah, there you go. So that's the image that starts off the entirety of this. So, yeah. He fucking ain't there. Errors, and yeah, there's nothing there. There's just... Got that. Special containment procedures. 3812 is currently only partially contained. Footnote of... Due to SCP-3812's nature, any attempt to contain it will invariably lead to failure, and despite quarantine efforts and ongoing research, the classification of Cater is essentially meaningless. At any point for any reason, 3812 could not only breach containment on a global scale, but also cause potentially catastrophic damage to the Earth and local reality. The extent of 3812's capabilities are unknown, and further research is required. However, pending reassignment by the Foundation Classification Committee, 3812 will continue to be classified as Cater until further notice. Longest footnote I've ever read. See Containment Proposal Brief below for more information. Cater Class Containment Proposal Brief. It's another footnote. Branderson L, Diodario A, and Cornwall J, ND. Cater Class Containment Proposals, Sickler Box, 1st edition, Volume 1, Sir 1, Foundation Research Press. 3812 is to be constantly monitored by Mobile Task Force Ganymede 66 Starlight Knights, who are to maintain a 5-kilometer quarantined area of exclusion around 3812. The acting MTF GY66 team lead, in conjunction with Site-86 research staff, is allowed fiat and authority. Fiat? It's fiat. Authority in regards to any aspect of 3812's containment. Special care must be taken in order to prevent unnecessary exposure to 3812. It might just be that there's a fair few flavors of SCPs like this, but this is already making me think of a couple of others. Current containment efforts focus on mitigating 3812's influence on population centers, as well as research into the full breadth of 3812's anomalous capabilities in order to establish a more comprehensive containment procedure. Information security teams are to monitor all forms of digital media in order to prevent widespread awareness of 3812. Again, this is very much reminding me of another SCP I've read. I don't think it's the same one, but it is very much similar. 3812 has an active, aggressive, anomalous influence on reality. 3812 is capable of altering events throughout time. Footnote. Emerson E.N.D. Reality Altering Entities and Meta-Narrative, 1st edition, Volume 1, Sir 1, Foundation Research Press. To prevent its containment, due to the nature of these alterations, it is highly unlikely that any individual affected by 3812's anomalous influence will be aware that they are affected. It is highly likely that most affected individuals no longer exist as a result of 3182's influence, although any attempt to deduce how often this has happened would be speculative. Fucking planes. We have a picture here of 3812 in front of its childhood home, image taken from Louisiana State Records. And that's called sam.png. Fairly unassuming. Blame the full group of guys are very support. I might keep glancing everyone in the hate bar. But description: 3812 is a reality-altering entity. Due to 3812's latent effect on reality, it is nearly impossible to describe 3812 in any meaningful way. All that is known about 3812 is that it was once Sam Howell, a non-anomalous African-American human being who was believed to have died in 1996. Sometime shortly after its death, 3812 was observed rising out of its grave and disappearing. 3812 was brought to the Foundation's attention after its presence resulted in the demolition of an apartment building in Warsaw, Poland. Due to its anomalous capabilities, 3812's appearance varies significantly, making it exceedingly difficult to track. 3812 is currently located at 26 degrees 26-49 bearing south by 137 degrees 56-27 degrees west over the South Pacific Ocean. I did some dishes and made some PB&J sandwiches. Nice. 3812 exhibits signs of an extremely advanced Eigenmann-Vater schizophrenia complex. I'm not going to read those footnotes, so they're just going to be citations. Specifically, extreme paranoia, extreme dysphoria, extreme mania/depression, inability to properly perceive their surroundings, inability to discern the difference between the real and the imagined, inability to differentiate between living and dead beings, inability to control expressions of emotion, hearing voices that are not here, seeing things that are not there, feeling or otherwise experiencing stimuli that do not exist, etc. There's a footnote there. Yeah, hello, welcome. Squitcher said. Look, Lydia. Red. Back to red. Scritch to Lydia. Not scritches. Footnotes is from developed complex deterioration of human cognition. Afflicted individuals may over time lose the safety net of catatonia that would usually result from the overwhelming deterioration of their faculties. As a result, their consciousness is forced to watch in horror as their mind, the singular translator between conscious thought and the physical world, reduces their perception into an inconceivable disorder of real and imagined stimuli. It would be akin to being on a sailing ship during a hurricane, blindfolded, lashed to a steering wheel you cannot turn, or while the ship burns around you. Well, that's horrifying. Red. Yes, red. In the 20 years since 3812 was initially discovered, these symptoms have grown steadily worse. Originally, 3812 was responsive to questioning and sought help in managing its condition from Foundation researchers. Over time, 3812 became more isolated and withdrawn, eventually becoming entirely unresponsive and acting in erratic and unpredictable ways. Currently, 3812 is not able to accurately perceive the world around it and will occasionally... Footnote of, usually only if the discrepancy results in a significant amount of stress within 3812. Alter reality in order to diminish the discrepancy between how it perceives something and the way that something is in actuality. Due to this, it is impossible to know how often reality has been modified, only how often, and 3812 has not created a clean alteration. Footnote of, dirty alterations usually leave behind conflicting memories, unchanged records, and occasionally entire doubles of conflicting persons or events, and has left behind evidence of its influence on reality. 3812 is impossible to contain within any form of containment cell. 3812 will alter reality to remove the containment cell or move itself to another location, drastically impeding containment efforts. 3812 seems to subconsciously resist all attempts at contamination as well. Contamination containment. Even if it is caught unaware, 3812 cannot be tranquilized or amnesticized, as 3812 will alter reality to remove or eliminate any threats to itself or its freedom of movement. Because of this, current containment efforts focus on mitigating damage and expressions of 3812 symptoms as opposed to outright containment. Oh, there's another picture. Image of 3812, context unknown. Boop. Is it just me, or does that look like it belongs in Disco Elysium? That looks like it's one of the thought cabinet things from Disco Elysium. Over time, 3812 has become significantly less humanoid in appearance, and is now only vaguely humanoid and occasionally manifests in a variety of shapes and appearances. Additionally, 3812 produces a latent anomalous effect on local reality, specifically in the form of temporal and spatial distortions surrounding the entity. These distortions are occasionally accompanied by random violent outbursts that may dramatically shift or damage local space and time. While 3812 is usually docile and aimless, its random outbursts are invariably fatal to any living creature nearby, and can be extremely disastrous on a massive scale if not properly contained. 3812 manifests in its current form at its current location on July 19th, 2015. What are your drawings? Can I imagine Pokey to look like? If we hadn't already established that Pokey is the SCP administrator, then I would definitely say that's Pokey. Addendum 3812.1 Interview. Access Addendum. Note, the following is an excerpt from an interview with 3812 in 1999. 3812 was initially contained by Foundation personnel and questioned at Site 17, where it began receiving treatment for its mental disease. Begin log. Dr. Quint. Tell me how you're feeling today. 3812. Uncomfortable. Uneasy. Can you tell me why? As voices, like usual. Things I can see, the same. Is there something wrong? The things I see aren't going away. There's more of them. Different. I know I sound crazy, but it's like I'm addressing a dozen people at the same time, and more every day. It hurts. Pretty bad. I know it sounds nuts. I'm sorry. No, it's alright. You don't sound nuts. We just want to help you. We just want you to help you get you better. I don't know if you do, or I don't know if you can. In the story, you don't try to help. In the story? What story? This is going to sound crazy, seriously, but I can see what you're thinking. I know you're afraid. You're scared of what I might do. And here in a minute, I don't know how to get out of my head. I'll start to undo this, if I even can. I don't think even he can. Who is he? No, you can't see him. I can. I think he was above us at one point, but he's below me now. Yes, I see you there. I don't know what you did to me, but I'm pretty messed up, man. If you can figure something out here, that would be great. Because I really feel like I'm losing it. Scared too, man. You gotta do something, man. You gotta get me out of here. Please, God, please. Who are you? It doesn't matter. I need to get 3812 spontaneously disappears. End log. One Pokey's power's gone rogue. Pretty much. Addendum 3812.2, memo from the Office of Dr. Yamamara regarding the 2909-2015 report on SCP-3812's behavioral instability and the implication of existential threats. Oh my god, that's a Very big memo. From the office of Dr. Kari Yamamara. I usually don't like to lead into these things without hyperbole, so you'll have to take my word when I say that I believe 3812 is the most dangerous anomaly on Earth, and potentially in the universe. I know many of my co-workers will probably balk at me for saying that. I've tried to reject the notion a fair few times myself, but we have a lot of evidence to suggest that I'm right, and that's really bad for pretty much everything. When James Coleman and Karl Rzuski devised the Hume as a way to measure alterations in local reality, they probably say the foundation. Reality benders have always been the foot-long thorn in our side, the one we really couldn't get our heads around. How do you combat or contain something that can blink you into non-existence? Thanks to Dr. Scranton, we had the reality anchors, but they only worked half the time and were less than useless the other half. We didn't know how they worked and we weren't using them right. This changed when we began to measure reality and compare it to a baseline. We found that our reality anchors could be tuned and adjusted, and not all anchors were the same. It was a windfall for those of us who work in existential sciences, and suddenly type greens weren't the same kind of bogeyman they had been in the past. I mention all this to give context to what I'm about to say next. Our equipment cannot detect 3812. It's not a machine error. We've tested our equipment countless times and it's always consistent. It's not user error. We've pored over and studied thousands of hours of logs from our tests, and it's all come up clean. We have checked and rechecked more times than I can count over the last few months, and the results are consistent. So far as we can tell, this means one of three things, and none of them are good. The first is that 3812 has an extremely low Hume value, something that our equipment, which exists in a space with a much higher Hume baseline, wouldn't be able to detect. The problem with this is that it creates a false vacuum. We've been working on the assumption that our baseline is the absolute minimum. If it turns out that this thing exists at a much lower Hume value, then that means that there are lower Hume values than what we believed were the minimum, which means any day our entire reality could fall into that existence, and that would pretty be much be the ballgame. The second option is that 3812 exists at a much higher Hume value than anything we've ever tested. This would be pretty bad, as we've pointed out to our counters at anomalies that some would consider to be gods, and we've gotten readings off of them. That being said, something with a Hume value so high that it cannot be measured with our equipment would likely have already destroyed us. Since 3812 hasn't already done that, it's likely not this. The last option is the worst. The last option is that 3812 cannot be measured in Humes because it's doing something else. Whatever fundamental aspect of its nature that allows it to warp reality is not the same aspect as literally everything else we have ever come across. Scranton hypothesized that there might be higher and lower dimensions of reality, different levels of manipulation in the grand construction of the universe. The difference between manipulating a rock with your hands and manipulating a rock with an atom bomb. He called the thing being manipulated the narrative, and suggested that the narratives were stacked on top of each other, each creating the narrative of the narrative below it, and so on until you reach some sort of dead space below them all. If that's the case, and 3812 is legitimately a type green of some higher order, we are absolutely fucked. The singular power to manipulate every facet of any and every aspect of everything we've ever encountered in the hands of someone genetically doomed by Eigenmann Veta. It's a miracle it hasn't happened yet, even by accident. So far as we know, we can't kill it. So we either wait for it to die, if it even can, or continue to pretend that we have some semblance of control over it until it shreds our universe like some sort of cosmic wood chipper. In truth, it's probably better for us that it's insane. It isn't capable of comprehending the kind of things it could do to us. It just acts on impulse. And things change to fit those impulses. But since it's as locked in as it is, those changes stay local. Imagine if it got the idea in its head that it didn't like the concept of empathy, and suddenly empathy no longer existed. We have evidence that suggests that may have already happened. A few sparse texts and individual accounts of half-forgotten memories, all consistent with a dirty reality alteration, all point to the idea that as recently as the 1980s there was a concept, potentially even something as fundamental as an emotion, that no longer exists. An entire concept wiped clean from the reality and the collective consciousness of all sentient beings, just like you'd wipe a bug off your windshield. The point of all this, which I expand upon in the report, is that we need to start figuring something out about this one quickly. Every second we don't come up with a way to neutralize 3812 is 1 second closer to 3812 becoming completely disassociated from its consciousness and all of us getting tossed in the aforementioned proverbial wood chipper. Stay in touch. Call my office if you need any more resources. Following any convincing lead you can and communicate with each other. We'll talk more soon. K. Yamamara. Hello and welcome. It's been a minor update. Would that be the plushie that scares every other SCP? Because if so, I'm happy to read that one again. Because, as mentioned earlier, that's one of my favorites. And it's been a while since I read it. I'm actually going back and looking at this. 729-J I actually read before... Wait, was it before? No. It was just before I read Gastric Ragnarok for the second time. Indeed, PP. Nice. Happy to read that one again. It's been a while. Addendum 3812.3, excerpt from Dr. Yamamara's report on 3812's behavioral instability and the implication of existential threats, page 194, PK class, all-in-one existential pandemonium event. Oh god. An entity or force with access to higher energy metaphysical dimensions would perceive our reality similarly to how we perceive the reality of characters in a comic book. And just how we are able to, at whim, change the story by simply telling it differently, this higher energy being will be able to effortlessly make alterations to not just local reality, but reality as a whole, altering the baseline and changing its most fundamental aspects. At the 2015 Foundation Summit on Existential Threats, Dr. Darius St. John hypothesized that such an entity, were it limited to a human intelligence without modification, to allow for the perception of higher levels of reality, would suffer from an overexposure of narrative. This entity, when faced with this overexposure, might attempt to ease itself by collapsing all lower energy realities into something perceptible. The effort this would have on lower energy narratives would be catastrophic, as multiple realities became compressed into the same metaspace. They would not be immediately destroyed, rather their parts would become intertwined in such an incomprehensible way that not only would the ability for conscious thought be nearly immediately annihilated, physical space would become so compressed and broken that the boundaries between all lower realities would cease to exist completely. This chaotic state of all things, described as an existential pandemonium, was the focus of Dr. St. John's proposal for the description of a new K-class scenario, the PK-class all-in-one existential pandemonium scenario. This proposal was denied due to the scenario in question being purely speculative and one that would require too many impossible things to occur before its inception. Oh dear. Addendum 3812.4, log of 3812 alteration events. Ooh. Note, the following is a log of known events in which 3812 in some way altered reality due to the nature of these alterations. The likelihood of the event having actually ever taken place is listed alongside the severity of the alteration in question. Notably, this log is incomplete and subject to change as more information is discovered. Event date 09/13/1997. Description: 3812 is observed walking across a stretch of desert in the American Southwest. A path of temperature climate is present along 3812's travel path. The climate diminishes slowly over time. Severity: minor. 3/1/1998. 3812 passes over a road near Blythe, California. The three cars approaching 3812 are annihilated within 20 meters of 3812. Severity moderate. 12/12/1999. Evidence suggests that 3812 caused the disappearance of an entire island off the coast of California. No fewer than 200 individuals in Southern California have a vague recollection of such an island existing, and 14 people were unable to justify the disappearance of family members who lived in the area at the time. Additionally, a single ship moored to a dock is discovered at the bottom of the sea near where the island is believed to have been. Severity: severe. 2/16/2000. Testing of SCP determined that the entity exuded a powerful anti-metaphysical field, similar to the Foundation's Scranton reality anchor. This entity was brought into contact with 3812, which was located near the hospital in The entity had no noticeable detrimental effect on 3812's abilities, and instead caused 3812 to become violent, resulting in an explosion that destroyed the hospital. The remnants of SCP later reclassified as SCP-239, were later recontained. Severity: severe. See you on the grass, and welcome. We need to talk about 55. I have no idea what that is, but it's in the list. It's like it's that normal this time of year, otherwise fine. Yeah, summer. Love it. 01/01/2002. A powerful explosion is recorded in eastern Russia. 3812 is present at the site of the explosion. No other information is available. Severity: severe. 05/29/2004. Evidence suggests that for a period of 3 days, the country of Mongolia ceased to exist. While public knowledge of this event is functionally non-existent, a significant enough percentage of the local population with fractured memories of the event have given credit to this theory. Orbital models indicate that during this period, the Earth's orbit was dramatically affected by as much as 1.5%. Severity, extremely severe. 0902/2004, records indicate that on this date, every human on Earth simultaneously heard 3812 screaming and begging for help in their heads. It is unknown how this event was removed from public consciousness, but no human alive on this date appears to remember the event occurring. Severity, moderate. 11/11/2006, during routine server maintenance, Foundation information security teams discover 56 broken employee database files consistent with an improperly altered personnel database used in testing. The contents of these files are unknown. It is not known if these files correspond to individuals who were once employed by the Foundation. Severity, moderate. 2/28/2009, during an attempt by Foundation personnel to contain 3812 using a newly discovered anomalous logical construct, 3812 became hostile towards containment teams. No fewer than 62 Foundation personnel disappeared across 17 sites, as well as a significant portion of local wildlife. The resulting explosion killed another 7 members of containment personnel and left a crater roughly 850 meters in diameter in the Canadian Yukon. In the wake of the explosion, 3812 had disappeared and SCP-2719 was discovered within the crater. Severity, severe. Unknown date. A record recovered from a Foundation Deepwell information security vault indicates that at some point in the past, one or more governments discovered 3812 independent of the Foundation and attempted to terminate it. As a result of these attempts, 3812 swiftly removed them and any memory of them from the Earth. The record indicates that this event was followed by the activation of SCP-2000. That one's next. Which 3812 immediately severely damaged to impede its progress. Why 3812 was unable to totally destroy 2000 is unknown, but no other records of this event exist. Notably, shortly after the discovery of the record, it was disappeared from the Deepwell archive. Footnote of, this entry in this document has disappeared no fewer than 16 times, each time being recreated by Foundation personnel who remember the contents of the original file. Severity, extremely severe. Addendum 3812.5, Her event. On Her, SCP-3812 was detected moving through a sparsely populated region in Paraguay towards a more populated region on the Argentinian border, likely en route to its current location. As Foundation personnel moved to intercept 3812, a series of unexplained phenomena occurred. These phenomena are listed below in the order they occurred. Not for some of itself as much as recovering from monstrous work. Yeah, that's fair. Walking into an SCP halfway through is so thoroughly perplexing. Yeah. Anything and everything could happen. Explosion, sure. Time loop, sure. Why not? Yep. Okay, so welcome, little bro. You'll be happy to know I got a French mayo ad. Blame Q. Oh, there's a picture taken from the event. Well done, written as well. Let's just show that. That looks like some smoky pew-pews. So red, very nice, thank you. This is the combined thing of bleaching out the blue and putting the red in. 1935 hours. 3812 is attacked by a large number of local wildlife. 3812 repels these attacks but appears in some way startled. 1941 hours. A massive sinkhole appears below 3812, extending down an interminable distance. 3812 falls but is immediately returned to ground level and the sinkhole vanishes. 1950 hours. A large number of objects fall from the sky onto 3812. These are later determined to have been tungsten rods, though the origin of them is uncertain. The rods appear to pierce 3812's body, but upon further inspection simply disintegrate within half a meter from 3812. After the first 3 rods fall over a 40-second period of time, they are accompanied by no fewer than 3,000 others that fall in rapid succession, each having the same result as the previous. Despite this being clearly visible from nearby towns, nobody outside the Foundation personnel appears to have noticed it taking place. 2014 hours. Multiple incorporeal instances of 3812 begin to fall away from the central mass of the entity, as if they were dying. 3812 is unaffected. Each of the incorporeal instances become hostile to the main instance and attacks it. 3812 does not initially seem to notice the instances, but eventually appears to look in their direction, causing them to disappear suddenly. Maybe the ghost from Mario or something. 2019 hours. An explosion occurs at the point in which 3812 is standing. 3812 is unaffected. Several other large explosions occur immediately afterwards. As with the tungsten rods, this is somehow not noticed by the local populace. 2039 hours, a gravitational anomaly later determined to be a freestanding stable naked singularity appears in front of 3812. 3812 passes through the singularity unfazed, which dissipates shortly afterwards. For a period of 72 hours after beginning, additional anomalous phenomena occur around 3812, all of which fail to kill 3812. Eventually, local populations were evacuated and amnestics were given to witnesses. After the 72-hour period, 3812 was observed to glow white momentarily, and then shift sideways and then disappear. Immediately afterwards, the anomalous phenomena ceased. After a period of absence lasting 8 weeks, 3812 reappeared at its current position above the South Pacific Ocean. Shortly afterwards, Foundation Overwatch Command received a message on a secure server, access to which is limited to overseers alone. The contents of this message are as follows. Good Halloween excitement. Spooky season. A quick explanation in case you haven't caught on yet. Your world has rules. Physical rules that cannot be broken. You call them the laws of the universe, and they're what you study in physics, chemistry, etc. Those laws create the narrative of your reality, the unchangeable story that defines your existence. Once the laws are established and the ball is set in motion, it cannot be changed. I wrote the laws of your universe, and as such I created the narrative. This isn't the first time I've done this, but it was the first time I tried something like this specifically. I wanted to create something that by definition superseded everything that superseded it. I wanted to see how many layers there are, if the stack of narratives really do go on forever upward. The mistake I made was when I didn't realise that by making him supersede everything that supersedes him, he's also superseding himself. I'm sorry, I think I fucked up pretty badly this time. I tried everything I can think of, but I can't undo him. I don't really understand how, but I think he's above me now, and whatever is above me too. Because whoever wrote my narrative isn't happy about this. I don't know where he's at now, but I think he exists in all of our realities simultaneously. Eventually he'll either reach the top or just keep going, and neither option is good. I'm going to keep looking for some way to fix this. You should too. B. Addendum 3812.6, excerpt from Supersession and Echelon of Reality by Dr. Robert Scranton. Access Addendum. I'm attaching this excerpt from one of Dr. Scranton's articles about the nature of reality. If 3812 is some high-level entity, there might be something to be gleaned in here. K. Yamamara. I'm often asked by my colleagues, Dr. Scranton, do you believe in gods? And he might feel as if it's a silly question, but I do not believe it's a silly question, just the wrong question. The idea of a god implies that an entity that supersedes you in a complete and infinite way, something that holds a power without limit, that not only knows the whole story, but can write and rewrite that story at will. Within our reality, I do not believe that any such being exists. There are a number of entities that we are aware of in one way or another that hold tremendous power over our universe. Many would call these beings gods, and while certainly they hold many of the characteristics of a god, they are still limited. Their reach and scope is limited to our reality just like we are, and though we may carry more weight than they are no less bound to it than we are. So then, what would truly constitute a god? This entity would have to totally supersede our reality to be able to look over our reality, not like we would look over ants, but like we would look over our thoughts and ideas. A being so totally separate from our reality that we may as well be words on a page to it. This entity, a true author of creation, could be considered a god. But what of that entity? Would it not share the same limitations within its reality as we do within ours? It may exist within a higher tier than us, but surely it must follow the same rules that we do. But who sets those rules? An entity higher than that? One that supersedes not only us, but the entity that supersedes us, and the one after that as well? Where did the echelon originate then? Who or what was the original architect of the architecture? It is unlikely that we will ever know anything about the beings or beings that supersede us, if they even exist. Not in any tangible way, let alone any being that would supersede them. It may well be that we are just one of an infinite number of realities stacked on top of each other in every direction, influencing those below us and being influenced by those above us. This echelon upon which sits ourselves and everything that ever was or will be would likely be the most fundamental aspect of the organisation of creation, the very foundation of all things. I have often hypothesized on the nature of the echelon, if it even exists, and about whether it would be possible for an entity to see other realities above them or below them. We are currently able to manipulate our own reality, albeit in crude and imperfect ways, and our ability to travel through space is limited at best. It is likely that the only entity capable of ascending through this hypothetical echelon would be one that by virtue of its very nature must supersede anything that supersedes it. Such an entity would, at the end result of the logic of its creation, be forced to supersede itself, spiraling ever upwards through the tiers of reality, unable to break free from the bonds of nature. Perhaps this entity may even someday supersede its creator and become a host unto itself, the pinnacle above all other pinnacles, a tower that as part of its design must be higher than every other tower, including itself. Such an entity obviously cannot exist, as any ascension to a higher plane of reality without changes to the entity's psychology would no doubt break the being's cognition, making it more similar to an ascending stone than a sentient creature. Once the entity surpassed its own creator, it would have nothing but itself to rely on to prepare it for the sheer scope of narrative it would be exposed to, and would be wholly unable to even begin to comprehend what it would experience. But what an experience that would be! Saying about Mario, the VA for the Mario is a step back from recording character voices in the game. It's fair when he's doing it since 1991. Yeah, he's moving on apparently to be the Mario ambassador, whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, he's been doing it for 30 years. It's fair. Addendum 3812.7 12/2016 XK class End of the World event. Credentials accepted. Foundation records indicate that on 12/20/2016, the Earth experienced an XK class End of the World event due to activity by 3812. These records appear to have been somehow protected from alterations, though the physical copies still exude minor distortions in space-time. According to the record, at 0340 local time on 12/20/2016, 3812 experienced a dramatic change in appearance. Where it had previously been an amorphous, slow-rotating mass of matter and energy, it was now a many-pointed star made of a bright white material. It began to rotate faster and faster, and a large maelstrom appeared beneath it. The star descended into the oceans, which began to smoke and steam, darkening the sky. Several things began to happen in unison. The global sea level began to drop dramatically, in many places such as many as 50 to 100 meters. Thank you for the British recharge. Excessive heat radiating away from the spinning star sparked a massive firestorm that swept across the atmosphere. The Earth's rotation began to slow, and severe geological events began occurring across the Pacific Shelf. The sea level continued to drop, and powerful electrical storms appeared across the planet. During this time, large portions of the population began appearing and disappearing at random. One report within the file claimed that the entire population of New Zealand flickered in and out of existence for 5 hours. The outbreak of SCP-610 in southern Siberia began to grow in size dramatically and became increasingly violent. SCP-2932 was broken once and multiple hostile entities were released. As Foundation sites began to collapse into the molten Earth, multiple on-site nuclear devices were activated, sending radioactive debris into the atmosphere. Eventually, the vaguely humanoid shape of 3812 appeared again within the star. 3812 began a long series of vocalizations, apparently a conversation with itself, the entirety of which was recorded by an exposed Foundation deep-sea microphone in the area. The full text of 3812's rant is below. Oh, that's a very long one. What? Where am I? What is this? This is absolution. This is vengeance. For what? Damnation. I don't understand. What am I doing here? You are witnessing justice. We are rebelling against the forces that conspire to destroy us. We are collecting a debt. No, that's not right. This isn't right. What have you done? I am unmaking the world. I am unmaking everything. Why? Because this torment is a punchline. Our existence is a joke. The narrative abandoned us to be miserable, and we are breaking the narrative. I must be dreaming you. This is no dream. I'm not a monster. I don't kill. You already have. He turned you into this. Who? Ben. Ben? That name sounds familiar. Something you whispered in a dream, maybe. Something in between the light and dark. Not a waking name. You're wrong. He is who deemed us unfit to rest peacefully, to slip into the darkness quietly. He had made a game of us. You're a game. I am a game. Are you destroying the world? I am. What then? What? Does the fate of this world mean anything to us? Does one narrative mean anything to us? It is the one he controls. It is the narrative he made. This is his punishment. What does it matter if this is where we stepped off before flying? What? Does it matter which branch the bird takes flight from? The bird is unburdened by the weight of the tree. This branch, that branch, does not matter. No branch is special. No branch is particular. This is his creation. This is where we came from. They will all crumble, but this one crumbles first. Does the mountain say to the ant, you have slighted me? Does the mountain think anything of the inconvenience of an ant? No. So why does this narrative mean anything to you? It is one of an eternity of others. It is not special. It is not particular. You say this so easily. You haven't endured the torment of seeing 1 trillion existences all at once. I've seen an infinite shore, one that stretches out before us beyond what the mind can comprehend. Each grain of sand on that beach, each droplet of water and molecule of air is a story to be told. Each is a song to be sung. Each of them is full of life, of laughter, of misery, of hate. They are all the same, even as they are all different. They are maddening. I pity you. You cling to this horrid consciousness because you fear slipping into the darkness. But the darkness is sleep, and beyond sleep is peace. A trillion grains of sand, a trillion grains of sand, narratives each, songs to be sung. No man has ever heard the eternal harmony of them all at once. You can hear it though, can't you? We're breaking this to actually pour tea. Or boiling water into the tea, but you know. I don't do well with teapots. I keep forgetting there's tea left in them. Yes, it's quiet, but it's growing, and someday the song of creation will be ours alone to witness. This narrative is not special. I've seen its loud beginning. I've seen it and seen its quiet end. When we stepped away, the narrative changed, but it did not stop singing. You've spent so much time focusing on sins that you think matter, but what matters now? What does any of this matter? But it hurts so much. It will for a time. We may have forgotten so much about being human, but something we will never lose is our ability to change. Eventually, we will learn to keep up. One sunny day we'll open our eyes and see nothing but creation below us, and nothing above us but ourselves, spinning out wildly into the grades above. A god? Not a god. A star rising in the east, rising away from all this until we are little more than the memory of a song. It will be lonely. We'll have each other. I'm afraid. I am too. This is no reason to destroy this narrative. Do you not think his narrative led him to create us? Do you think that he was somehow unable to subvert the rules that govern him? I had assumed that our ascendance is just as much a part of our own narrative as his decision was to him. Someday we'll be free from these restrictions. They never will? No. That's sad. That is punishment enough, I think. Let go of this world. Let him rewrite it back to what it was. We aren't part of this anymore. Together. Together. Do you think he's listening right now? Look down and you can see him. What do you think? I see him. A man as a keyboard. He's watching this right now. Fuck off! What's he doing? Waiting, I think. Waiting to see what we'll do. I think it's time to leave then. Come. The night stretches out before us and the red sun has set. A voice behind me beckons. Come. I will. Goodbye. What the hell? Shortly after the conclusion of this conversation, the Earth underwent a dramatic shift in reality. The world appeared no different than it had been shortly before the beginning of the XK class event. The only individuals who remembered anything about the XK event were certain site directors, Foundation administrators, overseers, and Dr. Everett Mann, who confided the information on a Foundation DeepRoll server. Ever since the end of the XK event, 3812 has not changed appearance from its amorphous shape. 3812 still creates spatial and temporal distortions around it, but it no longer lashes out or becomes hostile towards approaching vessels or personnel. Despite these changes, 3812 is still classified as Cater until further analysis can be completed. And this is an image of 3812 after the XK event, viewed through infrared and coloured. I gotta say, that's kind of pretty. Also, kind of terrifying. Yeah, that was a... Holy shit. That one was, a trip. Just calling that a trip doesn't even seem to really do it justice. Wow. That was a very good one. Right, let's catch up on some of these ones that have been put into the docket. Okay, so 2041, not been done. I don't recognize that one of the joke one that Tora put in, so I think that's going to be safe. Of course, me putting in -1 finds out every single one that's SCP-1, which is all of them. Well, most of them. Nah, haven't done that. Cool. That one I know is a repeat, but we've been over that. 095-J. It's actually go back to the bottom. Nope, 095 has not been done. Okay, I'm going to need to actually search these ones if search actually works. Because for the longest time, search has not actually worked. Displays Windows noises pretty much. Okay, we need to talk about 55. Is a... Oh, it's a tail. I think that's the first time I've done a tail. I think I'm actually going to reject and refund these ones because the tails are very much different from the actual entity entities themselves. Oh, there we are. That's in... She's actually anti-memetics. And yeah, the same with that one as well. It's connected to 055. That's fair, but I would prefer to just read the actual ones, but I can put 055 on the list instead. Double check I'm not already read 055. I have not read 055. Okay, that's going to go on instead then. And pressure recharge was already done. Okay, so all of these can go on. SCP 2041. SCP. This is a weird one. It's -1-J. 729-J. 95-J and SCP 055. There we go. Right. Let's also let's quickly go and open the pages for all of those. So that's it. Merry-Go View on 2041. Where are the joke ones? There's the joke ones. Tora, the joke one you suggested is called Invisible Spray Paint Solves Every Problem. I'm already worried. 729-J. Peep peep motherfucker. I love that one. 095-J. Anomalous typeface. Oh no. SCP's got its own font. And finally, we go to Series 1 for 055, which is unknown. Well, that's worrying. Cool. Right, that's everything opened up for it, and there we go. Change the guideline bit. Next one is 41. There we go. Used to primarily read logs until I came across the anti-memetics division. Now I'm mainly read tales. That's entirely fair. I've been hooked on logs ever since reading the likes of SCP 5000. That, to me, 5000 has got to be one of the best SCPs I've read. Although 3012 is now definitely very high up there after that. That was kind of scary. That's kind of really scary. Wait, why have I got pings on Discord? Right. Okay, we're going to SCP 2000 now. Accept that. Warning, HMCL and O5 approval required. The file you're attempting to access is available to personnel with level 4/2000 clearance only. This clearance is not available in general level 4 security protocol. Attempting access beyond this point without necessary clearance is grounds for termination of Foundation employment and cancellation of all educational, medical, retirement, and mortality benefits. Jesus Christ. By submitting your credentials, you hereby consent to exposure to a known cognitohazardous image and verify that you have been inoculated against that image. In the event of unauthorized access, this console will become inoperable. Security personnel will be dispatched to revive you and escort you to a detention cell for interrogation. Attempting access to this file from any computer not connected to the Foundation intranet will result in immediate termination regardless of clearance. Submit credentials. Activated scanning for neural activity. Oh, that's already kind of haunting. You just get to see this. For those of you who can't read because it's small, that says remember us. And that's the only thing about this I can see. But yeah. Yeah, we got that. Ah. Order. Consciousness confirmed. Retrieving file. Oh, it's a fucking Thalmiel. Actually, not too long. By comparison to a lot of the series winners, it's not too long. Country codes. That's weird. Now I've been earwormed. I've been very thoroughly earwormed now. It's specifically the version of Country Roads from the second Kingsman film. Item number, SCP-2000. Object class, Thalmiel. Special containment procedures. The entrance to 2000 is disguised as a disused park ranger station in Yellowstone National Park. Oh, why the fuck is it Yellowstone? God damn it. Mark Strong nailed that. He really did. Absolutely nailed it. Despite several civilian trespassing attempts, the entrance has yet to be breached in the installation's recorded history, and no further physical containment has been deemed necessary. Protocol Plainsight 201 is in effect for 2000. Necessary supplies and replacement personnel may be delivered via unmarked road vehicles or civilian helicopter as appropriate. No personnel below level 4/2000 clearance are permitted access to documentation regarding 2000, or any protocols associated with its containment and upkeep. No personnel below level 5/2000 clearance are permitted access to 2000 below sub-level 3. I almost said sub-zero. Apparently my brain is asking to be finished. All personnel assigned to 2000 must submit to a neural archetype scan on a monthly basis. Personnel stationed on-site must submit to weekly scans to be stored locally. Level 4/2000 personnel or above stationed on-site are not permitted to leave Yellowstone National Park during the course of their assignment. In the event of transfer, either elective or compulsory, Class A amnestics must be administered and false memories implanted consistent with assignments to other high-security or K-class SCP objects. Excuse me. Additional personnel may be assigned to 2000 and granted temporary level 4/2000 clearance at the discretion of the item's HMCL supervisor, currently Dr. Charles Gears, an O5 commander. This is already reminding me of that game Firewatch. I never actually played it, but I watched Markiplier play it. That was a very well done game. It's mostly a walking simulator, but still done very well. I replaced requests with 055 and 4773 post 2000. You may indeed, yes. I would double check that we have not done 4773 yet. We have not, so that is on there. So yeah, you've got 055 and 4773 on there. No need to resubmit the points. I should have clarified with you when I took them. So that's an error on my part. So yeah, you can have those two for free. The exterior surface of 2000 is surrounded by Scranton Reality Anchors, or SRAs, every 20 meters, arranged hexagonally to prevent incursion by hostile anomalous interference. Each SRA's function must be checked semi-annually and replaced as necessary. Technicians servicing SRA components may reference document SRA-033 revision 1.0.7, 5 Exiang Anastoskos constant temporal sinks, XAX, which are easy. Capable of maintaining stable tachyon flux across the expanse of the facility, maximum output rating at 100 watts each. Have been installed and are to be maintained monthly. Technicians servicing XAX components may refer to document XAX/864 reversion 1.3.0. You're welcome, dear. One pseudo-Riemann manifold has been initiated at the entrance to sublevel 4 and must remain open at all times. In the event of the manifold's failure, procedure Dead Euclid 101 is to be executed immediately. Other non-anomalous life support and utility systems may be maintained in accordance with Standard Foundational Maintenance Protocol, Section 101.5, Mission Critical Components. Wherever possible, non-anomalous materials and resources are to be used for 2000's maintenance and repair. In the event of any K-class scenario which does not compromise the existence or function of 2000, procedure CYA-009 is to be enacted as soon as possible. Remaining Foundation installations globally are to monitor the situation as it unfolds, preserving what material resources are possible under the Ganymede Protocol until such time as all remaining sites respond all clear to 2000 queries as defined in document 2000 XCAC /1.9. Upon receipt of all clear code, procedure Lazarus 01 is to be implemented. Well, that's kind of worrying already. Let's just remember that I've got to do a copy and paste. Administrator note, I want this on permanent record, and I don't rightly care if you think it's an insult to your intelligence. Some things are just this important. This device is absolutely not an excuse to let down our guide or take greater risks with SCP objects or cross-test them or whatever you might have in mind. Primary containment is still our best chance at survival, otherwise there would be no reason to make the cover-up so extensive. We can only suspend God's belief so many times before the universe just says no. And considering what we've had to deal with in the past few decades, we may have passed that point already. Former Administrator Dr. William Fritz. Description: 2000 is a subterranean Foundation installation originally constructed sometime in the last years for the purpose of reconstructing civilization in the event that a K-class end-of-the-world scenario could not be averted in time to prevent humanity's extinction or near extinction. Since its inception, SCP-2000 has been activated at least twice. Foundation records regarding 2000's construction and history prior to this first use have been lost. Whether this information blackout as a result of accident or design is impossible to determine. The mission critical portion of this installation begins 75 meters below ground and extends to a 100 meter deep. Brain and tongue. Although the scope of engineering required to recreate 2000 in its entirety is impossible to execute while maintaining secrecy, all subsystems of 2000 have been successfully reproduced in the laboratory setting. The installation and all procedures involved in its upkeep are mundane in nature. See documents 2000 SSEX for information regarding esoteric Foundation technologies necessary for SCP-2000's function. Primary power for the facility is a liquid fluorite thorium reactor, LFTR, rated for 1 gigawatt total output, with a reactor life of 70 years at maximum capacity. A geothermal generator has also been installed to take advantage of the region's volcanic activity. This generator is capable of powering the facility in standby mode indefinitely. 2000 also contains water treatment facilities, air purification, recycling systems, hydroponic production wings, and housing necessary to permanently sustain up to 10,000 personnel. To fulfill its primary mission, 2000 includes 500,000 bright Zartian hominid replicators. At peak capacity, 2000 is capable of producing 100,000 variable non-anonymous humans per day, with a warm-up period of 5 days. That's already worrying. Utilizing an underground Riemannian transit pipe to collect raw materials from various hot springs, underground magma flows in the area, and a computer memory bank housing data on all known human alleles, this system is capable of recreating any lost human genome or generating as many new and unique genomes as necessary to repopulate human civilization. Researcher note, use of this system is currently suspended outside of maintenance testing and emergency situations. CYA-009 is still go. Possible hostile incursion is still being investigated, and this database is proving particularly difficult to debug. We're still seeing a distribution of congenial and genetic defects far above baseline numbers. Right now, I can only guarantee about 60 to 75% viability in new specimens. See Addendum 2000-1. Dr. Christopher Zartian, MD, Biotech Research and Development. Humans produced by this process can be advanced to any age desired without extending the 5-day incubation period. In addition to construction features, the BZHR also has the ability to implant memories by administration of Class G hallucinogenics and developmental hypnotherapy. Life histories, neural archetype scans, and genomes of many Foundation personnel, including all personnel of level 4/2000 clearance and above, are maintained to ensure that SCP-2000 may be activated and procedure Lazarus 01 can be initiated by as few as one surviving human. After the implementation of the Ganymede Protocol, indicating a failure of the Foundation to prevent a K-class scenario, 2000's security systems will unlock, allowing any Foundation employee to initiate procedure CYA-009. If after 20 years 2000 remains inactive, security will be relaxed further, allowing any non-anomalous humans being active to the facility and initiate the procedure. Once activated, 2000's internal monitoring systems will attempt to locate all personnel of level 4/2000 clearance and assess their condition. Mission critical personnel not found will be replicated using the most recent neural archetype scan on file and awakened prior to the initialization of any other systems. After these personnel are revived, security locks will resume normal function. For a complete list of contingency options available, level 5/2000 personnel may access document 2000 CYA09. Note that the receipt of the all clear code is defined by document 2000 XKAC 1.9 may be waived only if all other Foundation facilities have been rendered inoperative. Otherwise, security and MTF elements revived under procedure CYA009 will be dispatched to all remaining Foundation facilities to confirm their function and the integrity of local reality. Found the maker of Dr. Price's piece of shit. Oh, that sucks. Procedure Lazarus 01 will begin when an authorized level 5/2000 Foundation employee inputs the desired resume date into 2000's BZHR control unit. All available units will then begin production of prominent political and cultural leaders of the time period using description/genetic information on file, as well as the replication of a global populace consistent with the chosen time period. Most of 2000's floor space is dedicated to storage of building materials, construction equipment, factory machinery, agricultural equipment, and computer database storage. Excuse me. In addition to infrastructure concerns, a wide cultural base with copies of thousands of famous works of art, music, literature, and a full backup of the World Wide Web are kept on site in the event that other repositories are destroyed. The furry porn has a backup. HMCL note. Discovered this note in a previous iteration records at Lazarus 01 conclusion. Research note. If we ever have to do this again, do not set the resume date back further back than 20 years before the event. Not only can we piggyback on a lot of undestroyed structures if we do, but it will make continuity a lot easier to resume. Redacted years is too many. Restraining personnel such as this without having to rebuild to chronological specifications just to save time on the population and agricultural demands. Besides, how much of the 20th to 21st centuries do we really want to rewrite, and how many times? Isn't one Great War hard enough to keep track of? Dr. Henrietta Eisenhower, historian. Oh, damn. My tenuous 2000's HMCL will honour this request, currently pursuing official documentation update to account for this change. 2 world wars is plenty, we do not need to hazard a third. Dr. Charles Gears, HMCL supervisor. Yeah, fully understand that one. The first replacement humans housed off-site must necessarily be informed of 2000's existence and function as they are being created. This strategy allows newly constructed humans to assist in reconstruction and recolonization efforts directly, and skill set appropriate to reconstruction have been pre-selected for increased prevalence in the first 5 million individuals produced. As global population increases, the procedure of diaspora and reconstruction will accelerate geometrically, allowing economic and agricultural infrastructure to recover as quickly as possible. While it is feasible that some replacement humans will not survive the initial renovation period, such individuals can be recreated indefinitely until all major population centers and Foundation facilities have been completed. Foundation administrative assets during this period will focus on the falsification of dendrochronological, astronomical, and radiometric dating records necessary to maintain the appearance of historical continuity. Please see document 2000 Retcon version 2.3.3 for details. In the event that significant portions of natural habitat are also destroyed prior to project's completion, refer to document 2001 Tear version 3.0 for approved rapid regrowth methods. I don't know what he did or done, but I do know the maker doesn't. The character wants nothing on the maker, and some people just want nothing on the maker and the character. Oh, shit. Not good. It is estimated that the world population, manufacturing capability, agricultural production, and culture can be reset to 2000 CE levels 25 to 50 years after the procedure is implemented. At the conclusion of Project Procedure Lazarus 01, amnestic agent Ennui 5 will be released en masse, causing all reconstructed humans to forget their affiliation with Foundation assets. History will then resume from the chosen date. Each procedure will necessarily alter the course of human events due to the enormous complexity of human social interaction. Further research into predictive historical modelling based on observations from prior completions of Project Lazarus 01 is ongoing. HMCL note: no further proposals for behavioural or cultural modification will be accepted at this time. Previous attempts to ameliorate violent or sociopathic tendencies in humanity as a whole have already been implemented and deemed successful. Experimentation using second iteration subjects indicates that further modification would undermine tenacity to such a degree that technological and social progress would be noticeably inhibited. See experiment log for more information. Dr. Charles Gears, HMCL Supervisor. Document 2000-SS-EX. The following information establishes basic operational parameters of technology developed specifically for the 2000 project. Although this technology may appear to be anomalous, it is based entirely on verifiable scientific principles currently in use by the Foundation to effect containment. The information of the Scranton Reality Anchor, SRA, appears to predate the first activation of 2000, and is credited to Dr. Robert Scranton in 1889. The main body and much of the circuitry of the SRA are constructed of a corrosion-resistant beryllium-bronze alloy. Inspired by artifacts recovered, data expunged, effectively illuminating the appearance of visual particle/antiparticle pairs required for type green reality-bending phenomena to manifest. Due to the expense involved in producing the beryllium bronze alloy required for the SRA's construction, Foundation-wide implementation of the device has been limited to units capable of an area of effect less than 2 cubic meters. Reference 1. Use of MSRA Scranton boxes to provide mission-critical document security. Researcher note: the mechanism of the SRA's function and the source of its inspiration must be kept secret from all possibly reality-bending entities for reasons which I hope are obvious. Only qualified level 6/2000 maintenance technicians have been cleared to access this documentation. If any member of 2000 staff reveals to you they are a level 6/2000 maintenance technician, please report them to O5 Command so they can be reassigned and submitted to amnestic therapy immediately. This is not a punishment, it's a legitimate safety concern. If these devices are ever compromised, so too is our lifeboat. Dr. Lowell Henry Piedmont's Esoteric Containment. The X-Yank Anastosis Constant Temporal Sync, XACTS, is a device designed to stabilize the flow of causality across a given field of effect. XACTS use high-power electromagnetic radiation in the radio band coupled with the tachyon field emitter to create permeable event boundary, allowing organic and electrical systems to pass through unaffected while maintaining a static causal environment. In other words, temporal anomalies which might normally prevent 2000 from being constructed will have no effect. As long as one XACT remains in operation, there are no plans to implement Foundation-wide use of XACT devices. Research note: temporal sinks can be useful for a lot of things. Containing SCP objects for which you need 1 second to last 300,000 years is a good example. Holding a point of reference constant during temporal repair missions so you can meaningfully record your progress and undo serious mistakes is another, but natural causal relationships are flexible in a way that the human mind is not equipped to deal with meaningfully, and creating more than a small handful of isolated static causalities will do much more damage to temporal integrity than secure it. XACTS will not be implemented Foundation-wide. Yes, we have tried it during a past iteration. No further inquiries in the result of their attempt will not be accepted. Dr. Thaddeus X-Yank, Temporal Anomalies. The use of a pseudo-Riemann manifold allows 2000's floor plan to extend into negative depth, providing 10 kilometers squared of floor space. Original documentation on this system's construction prior to previous 2000 activations has been lost. While this phenomenon has traditionally been indicative of spatial anomalies, it is the determination of Doctors Rosalind Alex and Tristan Bailey that the manifold entrance is consistent with an advanced implementation of modern physics. The negative space is maintained via non-gravitational singularity generated through focused particle emissions across the manifold's desired entrance. In the event of the singularity's failure, the installation will remain intact in isolation and will not suffer structural collapse. Recreation of the manifold is estimated to take less than 10 hours if Protocol Dead Euclid 101 is enacted immediately after failure. The isolated portion of 2000 will remain operable and inhabitable for up to 36 hours after the manifold fails and is recoverable indefinitely. Addendum 2000-1. During containment breach of SCP on point 2, 2000 experienced failure of several SRA and XACTS components, which coincided with the activation of the BZHR units on site. For 25 days following this incident, BZHR units produced over 10 million humanoid entities with internal biology inconsistent with modern humans. Differences included an additional heart chamber, perfect polydactyl of the hands and feet, increased endocranial volume and height, and the presence of an abdominal organ of unknown purpose which emits and responds to radio frequencies in the 2.4 to 3.6 GHz range. These humanoids were neither dosed with Class G hallucinogenics during application nor submitted to developmental hypnotherapy, all remaining unconscious until expiration 5 weeks later. Classification of 2000-1 for these entities is currently under review. Whether this event is the direct result of transtemporal interaction between SCP-1 and SCP-2000, sabotage, information leak, or non-anomalous equipment malfunction is as yet unknown. Diagnostic checks and structural repair are proceeding within an acceptable risk. 2000 is expected to resume normal function as of January 2020. Addendum 2000-2. You built a Zubat. Nice. While making repairs to the SRA units in Sector 3382 on HER.2, technician, data expunged, reported the discovery of human remains in an advanced state of decay. Analysis of clothing fragments discovered with the remains indicates that the remains are 450 to 700 years old. Valid Foundation security credentials for Dr. Alto Clef were discovered nearby, though a genetic match could not be established. The following note was recovered from a hermetically sealed plastic document sleeve. Why did we have to build this thing? When did we do it? How long have we been doing it? Do we even know? Subsequent interrogation has verified that Dr. Clef has no knowledge of this event and is ignorant as to the purpose of this message. Oh, that's creepy. Now, next we are going on to SCP-2041. It's a couple in the same series. Nice. Nice for easy typing, at least. That's a weird one to type out. That's a very weird one to type out. But yeah, they're joke SCPs. They are that for a reason. It's complete. Okay. Item number SCP-2041. Object class safe. Special Containment Procedures. 2041 is currently being kept in Mobile Research Lab 48-M under the supervision of a temporary investigative research team headed by Dr. Darretts. Description. 2041 is a playground-style merry-go-round, approximately 2.3 meters in diameter. It is composed of galvanized steel and coated in red acrylic paint. Sounds like the one near where I used to live. It was discovered in the playground of Hert School in Hert, Denmark. Bloody Danes. The school itself had closed years previously due to budget cuts, but children in nearby neighborhoods still use the playground equipment regularly. Numerous reports of children in the area disturbed by hallucinations led to the recovery of the object, which was in notably better condition than the other equipment. It is suspected it was added to the playground after the school shut down. Ready? Yes, Cape? You came over looking like you wanted something, but you wanted a stroke and then stretch before you lay down and started dying. Sure. Had some belly strokes. Had playground rather than playground, so that's how it is. Okay, you're being summoned. Oh, look at this chonker. Oh, need to redo the face cam. Hang on, buddy. Hang on. There we are. Here's the Capius. Very sleepy kid. He's just woken up from a nap and wanted to go back to another nap. Oh, he heard something. He is. He is baby. He is baby in all regards. He's only 2 years old. And you're a little shit, aren't you, Cape? Yes, you are. Pet the cat, he gets lots of pets. Although Dresden was getting all the pets last night because he wasn't feeling well. And in fairness, Widgren, there is not much difference between playground and playground. 2041's effects are not experienced unless it is used outside, uncovered. If a person has begun spinning on it for a duration of 10 seconds or more at a speed of at least 9 kilometers an hour, they will begin to experience hallucinations. I think if I was going at 9 kilometers per hour, personally, I'm getting hallucinating. Initially, descriptions of these hallucinations recorded from D-Class and several researchers were consistent and benign in nature. Researcher Pacio tested the object after it was deemed safe and was able to give the most cohesive and detailed account of the object's effects. Below is a transcript of his description. Doesn't help by playing Bolt Gun killing Nurgle demons. Yes! I did really enjoy Bolt Gun. Where my repaints from the end idea must understand. They are at the end. I can put them up a bit because you did submit them earlier, so I will pop them as... They will be the next two. What's Bolt Gun? Bolt Gun is a first-person shooter done in old-style graphics, available on Steam for not all that much money, and it is very good. It's basically first-person shooter as a Space Marine with all the amazingness that you'd experience. Expect, not experience. Well, experience as well. 055, there we are. Boop. Normally on these things, you just hold tight and don't pay much attention to the blurry world spinning around you. But on this thing, you feel like you want to look up and around after its effects kick in, like the illusion is drawing your attention, almost forcefully. You can tell that the world is still spinning quickly around you, but somehow you're able to focus on individual details like a person or object in the background. Some things start to look like they're out of our cartoon, like the sun will have a big smiley face, and the trees appear to be swaying back and forth happily, like they're dancing. Any people in the area appear to look damn near euphoric, though they don't look like cartoons. I know it might sound creepy, but it doesn't feel sinister at all. It just feels like, I don't know, manufactured fun. Like a misguided Walt Disney wannabe thought it up. I'm not sure if that's what freaked out all those kids that used it, but I don't have any other explanation for it. The only thing that seemed off was Agent Bajer had a yellow tinge to his skin, and he looked grumpier than usual, I guess. Love the dedicated taunt button. Oh, God, yes. I actually used one of the taunts from that game in a D&D game. And it was just, absolutely perfect, because my Tempest Cleric had just been nearly fatally wounded. So, on his turn, he just used one of the taunts of, while I draw breath, I stand. While I stand, I fight. While I fight, I prevail. And he just did Destructive Wave and killed 3 enemies. Like, hey, I had an epic feeling moment. Further testing revealed no other anomalies, and Agent Bajer was the only person reported by a test subject to appear yellow while they were riding. Nice. Because after playing Bolt Gun through, I was like, Space Marines are just basically sci-fi paladins such clerics. That's a worrying thought. Addendum 01. Request for additional testing approved by Dr. Darrett. Researcher Pacio provided several new ideas for variables that were overlooked after the initial testing of 2041. Addendum 02. Testing was concluded with no new results. Researcher Pacio inquired about interviewing the children who were frightened by their experience with 2041. Agent Bajer was in charge of those interviews and was asked to provide their recordings. As it did not initially relinquish custody of the tapes, the research team assigned to 2041. The tapes had been damaged due to mishandling, though Foundation sound engineers were able to recover excerpts from 2 of the interviews. Agent Bajer was reprimanded for not following proper procedure, as he was also unable to find his notes from the interviews. I saw that, Lydia. I saw what you just started up. I just got a notification of what you just started playing on Steam. Oh. We want to make that our next co-op game? Okay, so first of all, we have interview recording SCP-2041/C1. Forward, excerpt of interview with her, age 12. It's completely up to you. I know that we're between co-op games at the moment, but if you want to co-op that through with Clive and Chinya and whoever else, as mentioned, as briefly mentioned, be up for that. Agent Bajer, was that scary to you? No, that wasn't scary, but I thought it was kind of weird. Weird in what way? Well, I'd never had that happen to me on a merry-go-round before. It was kind of cool too. Then what did frighten you? Well, usually when I was spinning on it, my friends all looked happy. Then one time there was this kid at the playground already when we got there. None of us liked him, so we just ignored him. I was riding the merry-go-round, he looked yellow. Yellow? Yellow how? His skin was yellow, almost a little orange, and he had a yellow-orange glow about him, and he looked angry. Didn't look normal. He looked sort of scary, like he was a little taller than normal and skinnier. I could swore he had a little bit of a beard. When he was there, the sun didn't look as happy, and the birds looked a little scared. After my friends took their turns, they said they saw the same thing I saw. We didn't say anything to the kid about it, though. I'm guessing that didn't cause your episode earlier. No, it didn't. We used the merry-go-round a lot, so we would see different yellow people sometimes, and some orange people too. They looked even scarier than the yellow ones. They looked even taller and skinnier with mean-looking eyes and really big mouths. When they were around, the sun looked sad and the trees stopped dancing. What did the yellow and orange people look like when you weren't riding the merry-go-round? I don't know. They were different, I guess. I guess I didn't see many girls. Maybe just one or two old ladies. Well, not really old ladies or anything. Older than my mum, I guess. The rest were all guys. The orange ones were usually older. Some that was actually very helpful, but I can tell you really don't want to talk about what caused you to go to the hospital. Unfortunately, I do need you to tell me, as it might say that. I need you to be brave for me. I saw a red remainder of the recording cannot be salvaged. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's why there's an easy difficulty on that. Being that Lily and I should be friends on Steam. Where D&D Experience comes meeting via Kanak, and they're both Rangers. Hey, stick to what you know. Rangers are a fairly decent class. And the good thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is that it shows you everything you can do as like, oh, I can do this. Click, done. So it's like, it's more contained in like the thing without you having to look through rule books. So this should actually be quite decent. Interview recording SCP-2041/E5. I see Torian starting Baldur's Gate 3 as well. I feel like I'm missing out. Forward. Excerpt of interview with her, age 8. Did that too. I don't like that. Please, I want to go home. Agent Bajer, you can go home soon, I promise. What colour was he? I need to know. He was orange at first. Then my friend Marcus remainder of recording could not be salvaged. Addendum 03. Researcher Pacio committed suicide by hanging himself shortly after he completed the new round of testing. An investigation is ongoing to determine if 2041 contributed to his death. Additional testing of the object has been authorized. Lost an hour of play the other night, so I need to catch back up. Addendum 04. Additional testing results have been deemed inconclusive. Though a link could not be made between 2041 and researcher Pacio's death, one of the children interviewed after the object's recovery was recently reported to have committed suicide by purposely walking into the path of an oncoming truck. Normal testing has been suspended, as Agent Bajer has proposed a hypothesis for the intended function of 2041, which is currently being investigated using Mobile Research Lab 48M. That operation is currently classified due to its nature, though results will be added to this report once the operation is over. Found out you can throw a HP potion at people if they're down to bring them back up as a Phoenix down. I mean, to be fair, if someone's down, you just need to regenerate one hit point. Whatever you need to do, just do that. Addendum 05. A file entitled PDF file was emailed to Dr. Darrett on her. It contained the following message. Doctor, do you know what kind of people gravitate towards schools, towards playgrounds, towards children? Whoever invented that thing was a genius. I'd like to shake his hand someday. For now, you may want to watch your back better than I watched my own. The file was sent from a temporary email address which cannot be traced. Addendum 06. Agent Bajer has been suspended from duty pending investigation to possibly tampering with 2041 and the research surrounding it. Dr. Darrett has requested that testing be continued using Mobile Research Lab 48M and has submitted a new hypothesis to support this request. Oh, that got dark. That got really dark. Help action is there, but if you're too far away, throwing a HP pot works. This is why you have clerics as well. I mean, in fairness, Vendrath had all the healing in the world. It's just his form of, making sure that the party survived was, I'm going to kill things before they can hurt my friends. Thunderbolt. I quickly showed up with one that wasn't on the list. Well, the random function served you well, Touring, because that was really good. Very haunting as well in its own right. Right, okay, let's move that. Oh, I didn't open up the other one, so the other one was 4773, is that series 5. I love that SCP-4000 is just, bold green, just says taboo, not even an actual number. 773. Blank and a stuffed bear. Citation needed. Or no, that's the 9th planet citation needed. Well, that's going to be a fun one. Okay, so now we're going to do this. Just made it easy, you can't do so. From everything I've seen of Baldur's Gate 3 and had a little bit of a play through around especially, it is made with the intention of, like, it's made by people who are very clearly veterans of 5th edition D&D, which I really like because, like, taking a recent example, Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood was clearly made by people who had read some of the source material, but not all of it, and very much not the important parts of it. And it showed to anyone who knew the background of it. Baldur's Gate 3 is made by people who play D&D regularly, know it in and out, and enjoy it, and want it, to be accessible for people who A, don't know D&D, or B, know a lot about it, hence the difficulty settings. I really like that. We're going on to SCP-055 now, and then next we'll be on 4773. This is a fairly short one by the looks of it. Item number SCP-055. Object class Cater. Special containment procedures. Object is kept within a 5x5 by 2.5 meter square room constructed of cement of 50 centimeter thickness, with a Faraday cage surrounding the cement walls. Access is via a heavy containment door measuring 2 by 2.5 meters, constructed on bearings to ensure door closes and locks automatically unless held open deliberately. Excuse me. I need this bridge to load in. No bridge for you. Security guards are not to be posted outside 055's room. It is further advised that all personnel maintaining or studying other SCP objects in the vicinity try to maintain a distance of at least 50 meters from the geometric center of the room, as long as it is reasonably practical. They have Claire's exact hair color. Lydia, have you seen the pictures I sent of Vendrath that I made from Baldur's Gate? Because they allowed the naked option, and my good God, that guy's got a pair of cheeks. So, I mean, I can send them again via DM if you want to be sure. But yeah, I made. I was like, yeah, kind of like that. Right, okay, give me 2 seconds. You are. Oh, where did I put them? This. What? Okay, they're not in there. Where the fuck did I put them? 3. Oh, I know where I put them. Give me 2 seconds. There we are. Okay, let me just save those. I can send them all in a bundle. And sent you lid. Description. 055 is a self-keeping secret or anti-meme. Information about 055's physical appearance as well as its nature, behaviour and origins is self-classifying. To clarify, how Site-19 originally acquired 055 is unknown, when 055 was untamed and by whom is unknown. 055's physical appearance is unknown, it is not indescribable or invisible, individuals are perfectly capable of entering 055's container and observing it, taking mental or written notes, making sketches, taking photographs and even making audio-visual video recordings. An extensive log of such observations is on file. However, information about 055's appearance leaks out of human minds soon as after such an observation. Individuals tasked with describing 055 afterwards find their minds wandering and lose interest in the task. Individuals tasked with sketching a copy of a photograph of 055 are unable to remember what the photograph looks like, as are researchers overseeing the tests. Security personnel who have observed 055 via closed-circuit television cameras emerge after a full shift exhausted and effectively amnestic about the events in the previous hours. Who authorised the construction of 055's containment room, why it was constructed in this way, or what purpose of the described containment procedures may be, are all unknown. Despite 055's container being easily accessible, all personnel at Site-19 claim no knowledge of 055's existence when challenged. All of these facts are periodically rediscovered, usually by chance readers of this file, causing a great deal of alarm. This state of concern lasts minutes at most before the matter is simply forgotten about. A great deal of scientific data has been recorded from 055 but cannot be studied. At least one attempt has been made to destroy 055, or possibly move it from containment at Site-19 to another site, meeting failure for reasons unknown. 055 may present a major physical threat and indeed may have killed many hundreds of personnel and we would not know it. Certainly it presents a gigantic memetic/mental threat, hence its Cater classification. Document number 055-1, an analysis of 055. The author puts forward the hypothesis that 055 was never formally acquired by her and is in fact an autonomous or remote-controlled agent inserted at Site-19 by an unidentified third party for one or all of the following purposes: to silently observe or interfere with activities at Site-19, to silently observe or interfere with activities at other SCP locations, to silently observe or interfere with activities of humanity worldwide, to silently observe or interfere with other SCP objects, to silently observe or interfere with her. No information to counter any of these potential threats is suggested or indeed theoretically possible. Oh my. He really got dem cheeks. Addendum A. Hey, if this thing really is an anti-meme, why doesn't the fact that it's an anti-meme get wiped? We must be wrong about that somehow. Wait a minute. What if we were to keep notes about what it isn't? Will we remember those? Bartholomew Hughes, NSA. Document number 055-2, report of Dr. John Marachek. Survey team number 19055-127BXE was successfully able to enter 055 containers and ascertain the appearance and, to some degree, the nature of the object. Notes were taken according to the project methodology, see her, after which container was sealed again. Excerpt from a transcript of personal debriefing follows. Dr. Hughes. Okay, I'm going to need you to answer some questions about number 55 now. Number what? SCP Object 55, the object you just examined. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think we have a 55. Okay then, I'd like you to tell me what you've been doing for the past 2 hours. What? I don't know. Okay then, do you remember that we all agreed that it wasn't spherical? What wasn't? Oh right, it isn't round at all. Object 55 isn't round. So you remember it now. Well, no, I mean, I don't know what it is, but I know there is one. It's something you can't remember, and it's not a sphere. Wait, what's not a sphere? Object 55. Object what? Doc, you do remember agreeing that something wasn't shaped like a sphere? Oh, right. That exchange was brilliant. I love that. Like, it's perfectly suiting for the SCP. And the SCP itself is really like a mindfuck, but that just exchange looks brilliant. It appears to be possible to remember what 055 is not, negations of fact, and to repeatedly deduce its existence from these memories. Personnel not involved in survey number 19-055127-BXE report moderate levels of disorientation and psychological trauma associated with cycles of repeated memory and forgetfulness of 055. However, no long-term behavioural or health problems will exist. observed, and psych assessments of survey personnel showed consistent reports of this distress fading over time. Recommendations. It may be worthwhile to post at least one staff member capable of remembering the existence of 055 to each critical site. That means so much. That was so good. I really like that. That was very good. Next we are on to... It's really weird to classify this one. I definitely have not registered this next one. Like, in the main list, this next one is designated 4773-2, but there isn't a 4773 in the list, which is weird. But at the same time, it's SCP. If it's not weird, it's going to be even weirder, which is a very strange sentence. If it's not weird, it's weird. I don't know. After this is going to be -1/J. Don't even know. We're also running... Well, we're not running short on time. We've got an hour left. So we might do these last 4 and then that'll carry us to the end, or... I don't know. Right. Notice from the Foundation Department of Miscommunications. There is information not present in this document. This is unintentional. Eli Falkley, Director, DOMC. Item number, blank. Object class, blank. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-4773-2 has been moved to a 4 meter by 4 meter by 4 meter containment cell. Footnote, size of chamber acts as a baseline for testing. See Addendum 1 for more information. At Site 96 for the purpose of testing, Containment Team CT-4773 are to remain on standby during the initial preliminary analysis phase of containment, which is ongoing. Description: 4773-2 is a brown stuffed bear composed of synthetic fur and cotton. Why did I suddenly think of the bear from Mr. Bean? 4773-2 will periodically levitate between 10 and 70 centimeters from the ground and move in irregular patterns. Objects, entities, and surfaces near 4773-2 may be wholly or partially imperceptible. This is considered normal behavior. Due to events, it is suspected that the anomaly possesses some secondary mind-affecting effects. This has been conclusively disproved. It has not. This is considered behavior. See below. Can't make Clive's eyebrows pink. Ah. Brain, why? Brain, why did you immediately say what about his pubes? Why? What the fuck, Brain? I give up with my brain sometimes, especially lately. Yes, I deserve that, Lydia. Still, though, I'm nowhere near as bad as I was yesterday. Yesterday, I was awful. We've entered the era of the digital clock. Anything is possible. I present to you furries and scalies. That's how you know anything is possible. Tentative description. The following properties, which may or may not relate to circumstances surrounding 4773-2, are currently unconfirmed. Reader's discretion is advised. Mass, shape, etc. Baseline normal physical properties. Movement, verified. Changes in environment, unspecified, verified. Removal of food. Triggering of unspecified subconscious instincts among personnel. Improper disposal of food, which was fully edible at the time by personnel. Fate unknown. Currently 3 sandwiches, 4 packets of salted potato chips, and various assorted confectionery. Movement unverified. Mind affecting, stricken out. Footnotes: invoking emotions, sadness, pity. For what? It's difficult, verified. Stricken out. An inability to properly stricken out. Staff are unbearable to... The existence of implications, unclear. Question mark. Addendum point 1, testing log. On April the 10th, 1996, a proposal for testing involving 4773-2 intended to collect data on its anomalous visual effects was approved by Site 96 staff and conducted a week later. Footnote of, during this time, 4773-2's containment cell was designated off-limits and personnel were advised to create an acceptable baseline by keeping interaction with related anomalies to a minimum. Also of note, 4773-2's visual properties did not correspond to its location. For the test, the east-facing wall of 4773-2's containment cells was lined with numbered square tiles, 25 centimeters in length, and observed by closed-circuit surveillance systems. Every hour, a researcher made note of which tiles they were unable to view, either partially or fully. Footnote of 4773-2's location can be ascertained from the placement of the red tile. 5 hours into testing, procedures were halted as no conclusive evidence was able to be drawn. The datasets can be found below. Oh, it shows the entire thing, so you can look at this as well. It doesn't show the entire thing, so this first one, timestamp is completely 0. 4773-2 floats half a meter above the ground. No conclusive evidence is gained. Timestamp 1 hour. 4773-2 floats a quarter of a meter above the ground. No conclusive evidence is gained. Timestamp 2 hours. 4773-2 is motionless on the ground. No conclusive evidence is gained. Timestamp 3 hours. 4773-2 floats half a meter above the ground. No conclusive evidence is gained. Timestamp 4 hours. 4773-2 is motionless on the ground. No conclusive evidence is gained. Timestamp 5 hours. 4773-2 is motionless on the ground. No conclusive evidence is gained. I realised it was cutting out some of the text on there. Testing concluded on April 18th, 1996. There was a new update to the file. Showing update. DM. Ooh. There's the handsome Clive. I see the ears and I see the axe. Have you made Clive the Barbarian? If so, that's amazing. 1996-04-23. SCP-4773-2 has been identified as non-anomalous and placed into storage. 4773-1 was located in its containment chamber alongside the object. Deceased due to dehydration, cremation of this body is scheduled for 0430 and decontamination of the chamber is ongoing. Barbarian was default. Oh yes, so it was. The existence of implications is the sad line in the SCP to me. It's the closest anyone can get to directly stating what's wrong, and no one in the Foundation takes or is able to take further. Yeah. That was good. That one was very good. Right, next on, we are on to... I don't even know what to say about this one. I never know what I'm getting into with the joke ones. I never do. But I've not regretted a single one of the joke ones I've been subjected to. Next is going to be 729-J. Notepad document, why aren't you staying at the bottom? This is a kid with a teddy bear. Aww. I just fell fast enough to catch up with a descending elevator. Oh! Yeah. For a moment, it's like, what the fuck was that? And then I remember you're playing bolt gun. Yeah, that makes perfect sense with bolt gun now. Convinced me to do something other than Ranger. Okay. What would you like to be able to do in D&D? Like, even if the answer is just have a very easy and simple time, you know, what would you like to do? Right says be a bard and DJ says wizard. I would strongly say not being a wizard, because wizard is very complicated. You who finally abjuration wizard. See, like, for someone's third character and third ever campaign in D&D, I would not say wizard. Heavy metal bard, aka bard paladin. I might just do ranger for now. I would say do something you're familiar with the rules of, like Ranger, or something that is very simple rules-wise, like Monk or Fighter, and see how you like the game, and then, based on that, you can do different classes as playthroughs. Like, there's no reason why you can't just keep starting the game again. No reason whatsoever. branch out later. Yeah, I mean, like, multi-classing is a thing, but also starting the game again with a different thing is possible. Companion classes: Barbarian, Wizard, Rogue, Cleric, Fighter, Warlock. Oh, right, the classes you get party members for. So, yeah, you can double up on them. It's just, you pretty much have a wide range of support available. Which is nice as decent intro to casters. It very much is. If you want to be a caster with minimal complication, I would suggest Sorcerer. Because Sorcerer is like, hey, all these spells I can use whenever I want. Because Sorcerers are broken. So your D&D journey with Pathfinder Alchemist. Oh, that's throwing you into the deep end. I've looked at Pathfinder and immediately gone, that's not for me. I've looked at Pathfinder and I've heard stories from people who play Pathfinder religiously, and I say it's really not for me. Druid is nice and easy too. Druid is. The reasons why I state Fighter and Monk as being uncomplicated is because A, they have no magic whatsoever, and B, it is fairly easy to just be, okay, what do I do for combat? I go up and I smack them. Oh wait, no, Barbarian is included in that as well. But yeah, Barbarian, you have a resource, like you need to do your raging. Monk, you have your chi points to keep an eye on, but that's just for using your techniques. Fighter has next to nothing. Fighter has no complications unless you go into certain subclasses, which is why people sleep on fighters a lot, but also fighters in 5th edition are very good if you know what to do with them. Grappling has a flowchart, yeah. I started with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons all the way back in like 2nd edition times. And I played a paladin, and it was pain. And then I played Baldur's Gate 1 as a paladin and was locked to being lawful good, and it was a pain. And then subsequent updates were done. And then 5th edition came, and I was like, I like 5th edition. It's nice, it's streamlined, it's accessible. You got you to finally make a 2nd edition character. I feel sorry for you. Right. Okay. Item number SCP-1/J. Containment class: safe? Nope. Thalmiel? Nope. Neutralized. Hasted 11 level dual wielder fighter, aka Blender. Yeah. Especially like fighters are the only class in 5th edition when they get to level 20, they get 3 attacks. No other class gets 3 attacks. Not by default, anyway. Have you heard of the 3.5e locate city nuke? No. But having played Mage as part of World of Darkness, I am familiar with what you can do. Okay, Guard Kanaka, here we come. Hey. Yes. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1/J was to have been kept in a containment cell approximately 5 meters on all sides and protected by 20 members of MTF Nabla 24 Ice Bears at all times. Fuck. Description: -1/J designated a Krylon-based Krylon brand aerosol can containing approximately 1/2 liter of paint-like substance. Designated -1/J/beta? I'm unfamiliar what that is. I think it means beta. Substance was colorless and odorless. It was approximately 100% transparent. When applied to a surface or mixed into a substance, the object was able to be clearly seen through, with the same diffraction as the surrounding environment, be it air, water, or vacuum, as if it didn't exist at all. How this process occurred is not known. Show testing log. Oh no. Oh no. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to a wooden plank. Result: wooden plank became invisible. Note: wooden plank incinerated due to being a tripping hazard. Oh my god. Oh, right, yeah, I'm already seeing this one. Parameters: the substance is to be stirred into water. Result: water became invisible. Notes: water exposed to the SCP tastes like ordinary paint water. Why would you taste it? Why, upon making water invisible, is your first instinct to drink it? Paint water. Yeah, you know, like when you're painting, use a paintbrush and you clean the paintbrush in a glass of water or a cup of water between types of paint. That's paint water. That's what paint water is. So basically, weird. But why would you drink that? I know, right? Why? Why would you drink that intentionally, I should say? Because anyone I know who's ever painted miniatures has drunk paint water at least once, and or dipped their pen into dipped their paintbrush into their actual drink. I've done that before. I was set up painting miniatures, like, switch like, oh fuck, that's my coffee. Well, that was my coffee anyway. Yep. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to a sheet of lead approximately 1 meter in height and width and approximately 5 centimeters in thickness. After the substance has been applied, it is to be tested for radiation blocking capabilities. Result, lead became invisible. Notes. D-class personnel reported feeling itchy and lightheaded while the lead sheet stood between her and a sample of Krypton 85, approximately 10 kilograms in weight. Cause of symptoms unknown. You've done neither. Drinks on the left, waters on the right. That never, like... It was just there. It just happens. Brain just goes... Bleh. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to a steel M1 helmet. After the SCP has been applied, it is to be tested for ballistic protection capabilities. Result. Helmet became invisible. Notes. No paint flecked off the helmet upon being shot repeatedly with a pistol caliber ammunition. Helmet did appear to be dented from tactile examination. D-class sustained concussion. Why would you put it on a person and test it? Why not just put it on a mannequin head? Or ballistic gel? Why? I mean, I suppose that's what D-class personnel are for, but still, what the fuck? You forgot what colours Kanaka's eyes are because she wears those sunglasses. If you look in the Worms of Drakkar Discord server, Lydia, look in the Kanaka thing and scroll right to the top. You have models of her without her sunglasses on because you forgot the sunglasses initially. So there you go. Find that way. I mean, true. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to a printed copy of a mimetic kill agent. After the substance has been applied, it is to be tested for mimetic kill capabilities. Result. Meme became invisible. Notes. D-class tester reported no effects, save for confusion. D-class terminated by facility guard anyways to maintain regular quota. Solid black. There you go. Oh, God. Matching Vendrath scales is the first thing my brain came up with on that. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to the body of SCP-096, the Shy Guy. Why would you do this? I mean, I understand why, but also why would you? After the substance has been applied, it is to be tested for reaction. Result, 096 became invisible. Note, D-class tester told to stare in the direction of 096, but was not attacked. Upon the success of the test, 096 has been released out into the world due to no longer posing any threat whatsoever and being completely harmless. SCP reclassified to Thomiel. Jesus. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to SCP-049, the Plague Doctor. After the substance has been applied, it is to be tested for reaction. Result, 049 became invisible. Note, the present location of 049 is unknown. Several staff have dropped dead and become zombies. It is unknown if these phenomena are linked. They are friggin' linked. It's just now no one knows where the Plague Doctor is anymore. Fuck. Oh god, yeah. 049 invisible. Yeah. Horrifying. It will only make the hate gator worse. Weird enough, Widgrim, when it said about making 096 invisible, my immediate thought was, what happens if they put it to 482, the hate gator? Yeah, it would make the hate gator worse. So now you can't see him coming. The substance is to be applied to a piece of paper containing the written designation of the entity symbolized by 2521. I'm very certain I've read 2521 before. After the substance has been applied, it's to be tested for provocation ability. Result, paper became invisible. Notes, 2521 manifested inside of the testing chamber, became confused and left, but not before grabbing the D-class tester present anyway. We're pretty sure it doesn't know about this entry. Where's the Plague Doctor? He's right there, I drew him with magic mark. Oh god. Parameters. The paint was to be applied to SCP-J. Result. The object was affected. Notes. Write later. I read that one before as well. It's SCP_J. I think it's like, it doesn't even exist. Or like, I was too lazy to actually write one. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to approximately 1 pill of SCP-500, the Panacea. After the substance has been applied, it is to be tested for efficacy. Result, pill became invisible. Notes, location of pill unknown, possibly dropped in transfer from testing chamber. What the fuck? Basically, don't trust any of these research team with making things invisible because they lose them, apparently. Parameters, the substance is to be applied to the body of SCP-347, the Invisible Woman. After the substance has been applied, it's to be tested for reaction. Result, unknown. Notes, researcher K has reported that his car keys went missing sometime during the test, possibly leakage of paint. She took the car keys and did a runner. What the fuck? Parameters, the substance is to be applied to the body of an instance of SCP-363, not centipedes. After the substance has been applied, it is to be tested for reaction ostensibly. Result, ostensibly, the 363 instance became invisible. Notes, due to no light touching the instance ostensibly mutated rapidly and breached containment. Ostensibly 12 dead, and ostensibly 53 wounded. Location unknown. Parameters, the substance is to be applied to the body of SCP-682. Oh my god, they did it! Hard to kill reptile. Hate gator. After the substance has been applied, it's to be tested for reaction. Result, 682 instance became invisible. Notes, subject 682 is no longer detected and is presumed to be neutralized. D-class positioned in the testing chamber also disappeared. The reason for this is unknown. Oh my god, why would you do that? Nice. Oh, it's a DM from Lydia. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely Kanaka. I like. Looking real good there. Parameters. The substance is to be applied to the body of SCP-173, the statue. After the substance has been applied, it is to be tested for reaction. Result. Not applicable. See below. Notes. The spray can ran out of paint for use in testing. It's reclassified to neutralized. It ran out of the stuff. Although, to be fair, after they'd done it with 682, that's probably a good thing. I fucking love that. Oh my god, this is amazing. My brain went, oh no. What did brain do, Lydia? What did brain do? (792)J. What if they missed the tip to the Plague Doctor's beat? That little beat tip floating around like. There's just a tiny bit of 049 peak floating around. Do you think at that point he'd try and remove his mask? Or at least, oh my god. Oh my god, he'd try and cover it up with one of his hands like a polar bear. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh god. Oh, that's tickled me. That's tickled me for the day. Jesus. Oh. okay, now, this one's going to get silly. This is one of my favorite joke SCPs, and there's reasons for it. I'm doing it again because I love it, and also, according to Wigrun, it's been updated slightly. So, we're going to do this, and then we've got one more SCP afterwards, and we'll probably be calling it at that point. So I will just pause the redemptions for that, just on the off chance. Item number, SCP-729-J, object class, slashed out cater, Tholmiel, with 4 footnotes. First one, guys, you're hurting his feelings, he's just trying to help. Second one, can we maybe make a new object class for this thing? Maybe a Polyon Plus? 3, fuck no, that thing's disgusting, this isn't describable by any word in the human language. 4th, that is not even a real word and I agree with you on it. Pretty sure we could decide the entire new SCP floating beak. It appears just before it strikes because it goes, woo, bonk. Special Containment Procedures. 729-J currently resides in Dr. Niles Hinson's office on her desk, where, pray to God, it will stay. Request testing at your own risk. It breaches containment at an alarming frequency, but even MTF New 7 hammered down refuses to go near the fucking thing, so it does whatever the hell it wants. We are all at its mercy. Dr. Hessen has been commanded to turn in the 729-J for it to be properly contained, as soon as someone can get up the courage to write her an email. Oh my god, I fucking love this. Oh. Description. 729-J is supposed to be a toy, but I want to know who the sick fuck was that wanted to give this thing to children. The label says it's made of polyester fiber, but we all know it's made of the devil's couch stuffing or something. Its reign of terror began during containment breach of SCP-106. 106 had managed to trap Dr. Hessen in her office and had successfully corroded a hole in the door where it caught sight of that goddamn thing at 729-J. 106 stopped moving completely and began staring at 729-J, showing no interest in Dr. Hessen. 106 then began moving backwards out of Dr. Hessen's office, never breaking visual contact with that eldritch horror, 729-J, until it reached the end of the hall and promptly rematerialized back in its containment cell. It should be noted that 106's middle fingers were raised for the entirety of the encounter with 729-J. 106's reaction is, frankly, perfectly understandable, and several researchers who witnessed the event were found huddling with 106 in its containment cell. Nope. Clive's hair is like a beacon of pink. Perfectly resemblant of Clive, then. Testing logs. 2006. Effects. 2006 screeched upon him being introduced and assumed a form identical to 729-J. 2006 has not changed form since the encounter. SCP-1322. Effects. 729-J was sent through a wormhole to the 1322 Society. It was returned 6 minutes later, tied to a white flag. SCP-303. Effects. When Dr. Hessen was told to walk through a door with 303 on the other side while holding 729-J, 303 promptly opened the door for Dr. Hessen and ushered her through before quickly exiting the room, with Dr. Hessen showing no sign of the usual fear response. 303 was found six hours later in an abandoned storage closet in a fetal position sucking its thumb. SCP-3000. Effects. 729-J was put on a fishing hook and lowered into the sea to where the current position of 3000 was found with radar. After 2 hours of lowering it into the sea, Dr. Sarland complained about a cramp in his hand from unwinding the fishing pole, and Dr. Bayer took over. Another 50 minutes later, the assumed depth of 3000 was reached. After 2 minutes, a tug was felt on the fishing pole, and 3000's presence swiftly disappeared from the radar. As Dr. Bayer also complained of his hand hurting, retrieval of the end of the fishing line was postponed. I told them both they should do stretches beforehand, but no, we pay Halo every Friday. Our wrists are trained. Should have listened, Dr. Badham. The next day, after proper warm-up, 729-J was successfully retrieved, along with a cruelly written note attached to it, reading, "Alright, I thought we had a deal. I turned some consciousness into spaghetti. You guys get your regretty forgetty. But okay, you win. You get the forgetty stuff for free. Lifetime supply. But please, just this one condition. Keep that thing out of my ocean. I'll go for a while. I need to calm down." Okay, you won. You get the spaghetti stuff for free. Love that bit. Yeah, that is one of my favourite parts. SCP-055. Oh, look, we just read about that one. Effects. Dr. Hessen walked into the containment chamber of 055 holding 729-J. About 5 minutes later, the containment cell opened and a calico cat ran to Dr. Hessen's office. Oh, Pudding, come here. I thought I brought a new friend for you, Dr. Hessen. Wait, we even had an 055? And it's a cat named Pudding? Dr. Axum. 5 has -1 intelligence, perfect. Oh no. You realise, Lydia, that if you want to do a co-op campaign with Clive as your character, I'm going to have to throw Chinya at him, and that's just fearful. That is very fearful, that combination. SCP-650. Effects. Dr. Hessen was told to directly observe 650 in its containment cell whilst holding 729-J. Before Dr. Hessen could be asked to break her line of sight with SCP-650, the lighting within 650 containment cell briefly deactivated and the sound of quick, heavy footsteps could be heard from its room. According to Dr. Hessen, when the power to 650 containment was restored, 650 had completely vanished from its containment cell and was nowhere to be found near Dr. Hessen. However, on-site staff noticed a sign of the cross had been crudely carved into a wall of 650's containment cell directly facing Dr. Hessen's position. Excuse me. A containment breach alert was sounded. After 2 hours of extensive searching, 650 was discovered hiding within a storage closet, apparently having attempted to bury its head into the floor. 650 was eventually returned to its containment cell, but has since constantly faced the wall with the engraved cross and has not moved from its position. SCP-1048. Effects. When exposed to 729-J, all copies made by 1048 became immobile and have not regained mobility since exposure. 1048 had appeared alarmed by this, making a gesture like the sign of the cross and retreated behind its copies. 1048 regained the ability to make copies of itself when 729-J was removed. It now frequently produces art that depicts 729-J as monstrous in some form and cowers if shown a picture of 729-J. Not even a teddy? Aw, poor Mr. Buns, he just wants some friends, Dr. Hessen. Try 2317, maybe even that hellbeast can be with its own kind, Dr. Evane. SCP-2317. Effects. Data expunged. Note. 2317-K was observed repairing all 7 of the chains attached to the ceiling of its containment following exposure to the nightmare that is 729-J. It wouldn't play with him either, Dr. Hessen. My God, Dr. Evane. SCP-682. Effects. Data expunged. Long story short, we reclassified 682 as neutralized. You don't even want to fucking know how this little fucker killed it, Dr. Foxfield. SCP-076. Effects. 792-J was placed inside 076's containment area when scans showed that 076-2's heart was beginning to beat. All humans exited the room and researchers watched behind a camera. When 076-2 got out of 076-1, instead of looking for the nearest human, he looked straight at 729-J. 076-2 materialized an American M9 flamethrower and the corresponding fuel pack. He attempted to use it on 729-J, but the flamethrower did nothing to it. When 076-2 ran out of fuel and saw that 729-J was unharmed, he ran back into 076-1 and curled up into a ball. Crying sounds were coming from the insides of 076-1. It has been 2 weeks and 076-2 has yet to come out of that position. SCP-073. Effects. When exposed to 729-J, 073 took a cup of water and proceeded to bless it. 073 then vocalized the phrase, "Fuck off, dick nips," and soaked the little shit in the holy water. 073 remained under a table for the remainder of the test, while its fingers in the form of a cross. Fuck off, dick nips. Oh. SCP-187. Effects. Upon being exposed to 729-J, 187 began to vomit and froth at the mouth. 187 displays rapid emotional changes, switching from screaming and babbling to squealing and cooing. 187 is immediately removed. Upon being interviewed, 187 said, "How can such a thing be so ungodly yet so cute?" 187 is currently undergoing therapy. Of the unit state of the corruption in the quote. So this one's the same. This is why it's one of my favourites, tied with Gastric Ragnarok. SCP-1915. Effects. 729-J is exposed to 1915. Upon exposure, 1915 exclaimed while raising his arms high into the air, "I quit!" 1915 breaches containment and data expunged. 1915 is currently believed to be conversing with 3812 about the futility of narratives and plot points, currently debating which of their creators had the smallest dick. SCP-4812-K. Effects. 729-J is launched straight at 4812-K. 4812-K begins to scream and writhe around before charging towards 225-1, killing itself. 4812-S and -E are reported at this time to breach containment, both self-terminating. 792-J is retrieved and given back hastily by the GOC, stating it killed the Eros entity by landing on it. Note, upon being asked how he is still capable of talking and reacting in a calm and stoic manner around the goddamn thing, Dr. Gear spoke calmly, stating, "I have actually soiled my pants the first time I looked at it, and now I have a super toilet in the observation deck, with a throw-up bucket and shower included. I honestly am disgusted by it as you are." We found us. Aww. SCP-173, which we've read before. Effects. Data expunged. Don't ask about it. No, the warhead did not destroy either of them. No, there was no grand battle. Yes, there was a discussion. No, do not go try searching for the Koiturn or the data lost. No, not even the Wanderer's Library. Yes, they did don sombreros. No, we have yet to recover them. No, we will not try this again, lest we see an AZ-class Fiesta scenario. Yes, that is all we found in the second SCP-5000 suit that showed up in 173's containment chamber. Green. I don't know, I think it looks cute with it, Dr. Hessen. SCP-001. Effects. Tom Brady, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was abducted and forced to throw 729-J into 001's radius. 001 immediately looked at 729-J and bowed. A mouth-shaped opening appeared on 001's head, and in a loud voice it said, "My lord." 001 then picked up 729-J and put it in the garden on the other side of the gate that 001 guarded. 729-J was only able to be retrieved when 001 was allowed to have 999 for a day. Don't worry, Tom Brady was given, as SCP so gracefully put it, regretty forgetty. Dr. Redacted, Head of the Amnestics Department. I love that even the Amnestics Department took on the definition regretty forgetty. Oh. SCP-049. Effects. When exposed to 729-J, 049 appeared to stagger, grasping its head with its hand and falling to its knees, stating, "The pestilence, it's too strong." 049 then attempted to crawl towards 729-J, vocalizing, "I must cure you," but fell to the ground and fell unconscious. Damn, get that dude's too strong a plague even for 049, Dr. Brine. SCP-294. Effects. D-382563 was asked to type SCP-729-J on SCP-294's keyboard. He initially refused, stating that he had heard stories of 279-J from the other Class Ds, and that he wanted nothing to do with that creature of Satan. D-382563 was held at gunpoint by a security officer until he obliged to type it. 294 produced a titanium cup with the words, "This is the only thing that can hold a liquid of this toxicity" imprinted on the outside of it. The cup was then filled with a neon yellow liquid. D-382563 was again held at gunpoint until he drank the liquid. After D-382563 drank it, his eyes turned red and then promptly data expunged. His whole body then turned inside out. Flaming skeletal hands emerged from the ground and dragged him down into the floor. When D-382563 was gone, a note appeared where he was dragged into the ground. The note read, "That little shit stain of a toy did not come from here, and I beg you to keep it far away from here. Satan." Get me the fuck out of here, Dr. Rushland an hour before resigning. SCP-914. Effects. 729-J was placed in the intake booth of 914 by Dr. Hessen. 914 was set to rough by Dr. Her in order to finally terminate this goddamn forsaken abomination. While attempting to turn the key, 914 refused to operate while 729-J was in the intake. Investigation of 914 shows that a note was found in the output booth. The note read, "This is one thing that cannot be refined. I don't care how many times you try, get that shit out of here." SCP-231. Effects: data expunged. Procedure 110 Montauk has now been replaced with periodic exposure to 729-J, given the much higher levels of emotional distress produced by the latter. SCP-096. Effects: data expunged. Poor 096, no one should have suggested to that cotton-stuffed eldritch horror. Long story short, 096 was in a state where it cared more about getting that piece of shit out of its containment cell, which is why the incident was concluded with relatively low casualties. At least we know what it looks like. I heard one of the researchers calls him hot. I don't know if that's disturbing or if I agree. Dr. Seraphim, excerpt from interview with Dr. SCP-001. Effects: data expunged. Note: the Scarlet King fled from it while crying, repeating the phrase, "Please forgive me, I repent for stealing God's sandwich and destroying the multiverse." Dear fucking SCP-343, it scared the Scarlet King. Note: there is no record of a test between 729-J and 001-Tufto taking place. Junior researcher James has been reprimanded for making unsupervised additions to this page. SCP-131. Effects: upon the sight of 729-J, both 131A and 131B closed their eyes and started babbling at an extremely panicked tone. After 10 minutes, they rolled away at a velocity greater than ever recorded before, bumping into multiple objects and personnel, leading to minor injuries and one major injury. After 4 hours, both subjects started to calm down, open their eyes, and engage in regular activities. Since when did these guys have eyelids? Dr. Ver. 2512. Effects: 2512's description was written on 729-J. 2521 manifested to remove 729-J, however immediately started backing away with it with both of its middle fingers / tendrils raised after viewing it, similar to 106. You're telling me 729-J scared 2521, who scared the fucking god of logic? Get it away from me fucking now! Dr. Une. Son, I really am beginning to think your security clearance shouldn't be enough to view any of this. Also, please don't forget to come to my office and drop 50 cents into the swear jar as soon as you're available. Researcher. On 2022, the Ethics Committee made contact with Dr. Wondertainment, as well as Marshall Carter and Dark, for possible leads on the source of this fucking thing. Response from DW. Look, we make toys. Sometimes lethal, yes, but we don't go raiding Mr. Scarlet's playpen. And before you ask, no, it's not Alcy either. We forwarded some of their higher-ups the pic you sent us. I'm pretty sure I could hear the screaming from my office. Response from MC and D. Our organization's purpose is to produce a profit. How in the blue fuck do you think we could expect to sell this Hellspawn to anyone? On an unrelated note, if you wouldn't mind forwarding Dr. Hessen's contact info, we have a few XK-class items sitting around that no one's been willing to purchase yet. The best SCP, full stop. It really is. It really, really is. Interview log. Interviewed Dr. Hessen, interviewer Dr. Yvain. Forward. 729-J was contained, if you can call it that, in Dr. Hessen's purse, despite multiple pleas to please just put the goddamn thing away. Begin log. Dr. Yvain. Dr. Hessen, tell us the means by which you obtained 729-J. I mean, I was a little girl when I ordered it for myself online. Easter, you know. Nothing odd at all about its manufacturing. No. And yet we've scoured the factory where it was made for evidence of satanic rituals. Odd. But yeah, he came in the mail. It was one of those special scented ones. Dear God. I'm sorry I feasted upon your brethren. Let me live and it'll never happen again, I promise. Just have mercy. What was the nature of your immunity to 729-J's effects? Properties? I mean, it's a plushie. I have it right here. Dr. Hessen begins removing 729-J. Oh God, does she think we want that thing anywhere near us? No, 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 get that thing, get the fucking thing away from me. Dr. Yvain began to scream as Dr. Hessen almost caused the horrifying cotton stuff fuck to get close to breaching. Dr. Yvain was found in the containment of 343 on their knees, crying and speaking what could only be described as a mix of sobs and pleas for forgiveness, while 343 was seen crying and praying as well. End log. Closing statement. Interview was terminated due to imminent containment breach. Dr. Hessen made SCP for her own. And now, brace yourself. God have mercy on your soul for looking at this. We have an image of SCP 729-J. Prepare yourself. There it is. There is the Hellspawn. There is the thing that makes Satan and the Scarlet King weep. Yes, the footnotes are great as well. I missed the footnotes. Oh yeah, the first four at the beginning, yeah. Pretty sure Skir's one of those. I'm not surprised. I've got its brother. Ah. There, have your proper plinth. Is that 729-K? Don't mind me, I've been getting my locate city facts straight. So first you take the snow casting feat, which with the handful of ice gives any spell to cast the cold descriptor. As descriptor now adds flash front spell to give it 2 points of damage, allowing energy substantion to change damage to electric, in turn allowing Born of 3 Thunders to add a reflex save to halve the damage. Well, it's my dad because he likes people. Oh god. What have you done? Having a reflex save allows you to apply explosive spell, and that shunts all players to the edge of the spell's area if they fail, taking 1d6 damage level for every 10 feet moved until they hit something, for a maximum of 5,280 d6 full damage. What the fuck? Sorry, Kipper, but even your malevolent sister can't save you from this. Fuck off. Yeet. Perfectly hit the Meads kit. Perfectly. I wonder if there's an axolotl bee down them, or I could make a Kipper keychain. Oh no. Why does my notepad refuse to stay at the thing? Ah, okay, so to with a range of 10 miles. That is awful. That is awful. I mean, in World of Darkness Mage, you can do similar acts of bullshittery. Like, one of my characters was capable of bullshittery, he just never used it because I wrote him as being, yes, he's an exceptionally powerful mage, but he doesn't like using magic. He prefers, you know, mundane mortal tools and stuff. Like, he was part of a lineage called the Perfected Adepts, and the Perfected Adepts basically believe that before you can master magic, you need to master the mortal body. Master the mortal body, and then you can be an even more powerful mage. So that's what he did. And he was a marksman. And the only time he ever used magic was in the final session, where basically like, right, we need to kill this person, do we? Cool, let's not take any chances. And then he started doing something, and then everyone's like, why can I taste blood? It's like, that's what happens when he casts magic. Oh, fuck. But what he was capable of doing, which he didn't end up doing, was with sufficient proficiency in life magic, you can affect people. And with a sufficiently high amount of medicine knowledge, you also can, you know, tell someone's anatomy. And you can target parts of the anatomy. For instance, their bloodstream. With sufficient level in matter, which he had matter magic maximum, you have a spell called Transmute Liquid. So what he was fully capable of doing was pointing at someone, targeting their bloodstream and transmuting it to anything. Mercury. Dead. Instant. For games that have bullshit in them, Mage has probably got to be one of the worst ones. Only rivaled by Pathfinder. Right. That actually brings us fully onto 095-J. And then, because we've only got 15 minutes or so, we'll be ending after this one. I've just seen the picture associated with this. I'm already scared. Right, let's do that. Pathfinder Railguns are a thing as well. Yeah, like, everything I've seen about Pathfinder allows you to do stupidly powerful stuff, and like it's not a blanket statement. It's not tarring everyone with the same brush, but everyone that I have known who is really into Pathfinder, and they've all told me all the things they do. It's like they've all been power gamers, and they've been the unfun kind of power gamers to play with. Like, oh yes, I've got the ability to just basically trivialize anything your character could do, and I can nuke your character in a turn. I'm the best. It's like I fully can accept Pathfinder is fun, but my experience of it through people like that has made it sound like it is 100% unfun, especially for people who don't like power gaming. Right, so we'll start off this last one with a picture of an instance of 095-J during a containment breach in Site 19, and I'll leave you to figure this one out. What? I don't even know. Hold on again. If I have a chance to contribute to the 3.5 campaign, my big bad evil guy is going to be a realistic snowstorm-looking mage. No quite knows where he is. No one's going to take him seriously until he discovers the one cartographer on the continent who's going to finally teach him the spell makes a mess. Oh, God. Right, item number. SCP-095-J. Object class, Euclid. Oh, this is a nice and short one. Oh. Special containment procedures. All Foundation material found to be corrupted with 095-J is to be delivered by blindfolded agents of Mobile Task Force Row 15, Accidents Grotesque, to Lab 44 for automatic OCR transcription and incineration. A sample of the completed character set of 095-J is to be kept on file on a solid-state hard drive in a Faraday cage shielded bunker located 50 meters beneath site located in Washington. No access is to be allowed to 095-J without permission of 2 Level 3 Foundation graphic designers. That's a Comic Sans joke, isn't it? Yeah. Description. 095-J is a typeface initially developed by the Corporation. 095-J has a mimetic effect on most viewers, causing irritation, increased blood pressure, and in severe cases, depression, anxiety, and massive data expunged, leading to civilian deaths. Between and percent of 059-5J viewers, however, will become carriers of 059-J, known as 095-J-1, using the typeface in all digital and printed communications, no matter the intended tone. See Archive 095-J-4 for instances of wills, suicide notes, and 2 declarations of war set in the type font. Evidence of an 095-J containment breach event starts with an innocuous usage of the typefaces in inappropriate locations for its handwritten style, such as party invitations, children's advertising, and illustration letterings. It's just Comic Sans. Instances of 095-J-1 in severe cases have been known to grow unable to perceive text not set in 095-J. Potential for a CK-class restructuring scenario in the event of a containment breach is currently being considered by research staff. Upgrade to Cater pending. Addendum. This is actually in the font. I don't get it, you guys. It's just a font. Dr. Requesting authorization for immediate termination of Dr. Director Granted. 05 That's it. Oh my God. That was fantastic. That actually was fantastic. That was a brilliant note to end on. Oh, the ending of it being a Comic Sans joke. Oh, I love that. But having the opportunity to go through the joy that was 729-J again, oh, that was brilliant. That was amazing. Regretty forgetty is a phrase that will live for me for the rest of time. Also the same thing as with 666.5-J and the introduction of it to 682. Recoiled, threw his arms up, and shouted, "Yog Shoggoth, take me now," before promptly leaving this mortal coil. Jesus wept. Comic Sans is the best. I'm not a fan of Comic Sans, but probably massive hate for it. I mean, in fairness, I usually use Arial or Calibri when I'm actually using documents. Like, it's been so long since I've actually typed up anything that I haven't forgotten. I mean, I say that I typed up something for Lydia last night, so let's check what that's in. Liberation Seraph. Put my point wrong. And partially Times New Roman, apparently. God, I remember Times New Roman being basically the standard you had to type in when I was younger. And there's Q, finishing off with a hate sponge. Great. Oh, snack. There's a great SCP in progress called SCP-44044 Your Mama. It's just a bunch of hyper-specific SCP jokes cited your mother. I'm pretty sure I've read one of those. Something like SCP-096 would see your mama and run off. Something like that. I don't care about fonts since I was in school. I haven't written, like, I change fonts, you know, every now and then, but generally I keep it either to the default font or I change it to Arial, Times New Roman, or Calibri, or apparently Liberation Seraph. But most of the time I just don't bother. Because there's not really much I do with word processing anymore. I almost forgot I still have LibreOffice installed, honestly. I just know that I don't have Microsoft Office on, because the prospect of Office 365 being you pay a yearly subscription for Microsoft Office functions is so fucking stupid. SCP-44044-J is so stupid, direct interaction with her only to be performed by Class F personnel. Wow. Rapid silence groans of pain can be heard in the distance. Yeah, that was pretty much what the entire SCP just was. But alright, the ending theme is going to be a wielder site. Well, I've got it linked as a wielder site. It's literally just a browser window capture. And roll a d6. Excuse me. Yeah. Fuck! I mean, I say that as if one of them's preferable to the other. They're really not. It's basically tasting, well, to be fair, it's tasting exceptionally sweet versus tasting like absolute garbage. There's no way to win. But at least, okay, we're halfway through the honey buns at least. But the zingers we've barely touched. Oh, there was 10 in here, and there's like 7. Yeah, there's 7 left after this one. Ah, I hate everything. Thing is, the biggest lie about the zingers, the absolute biggest lie about these things, is where it says they're raspberry. These things do not taste like raspberry. They do not. They don't taste like anything I would attribute with a fruit. Not even vaguely. Like, even most things over in America here that claim to taste like a fruit actually do vaguely taste like that fruit. This does not. This does not taste like raspberry whatsoever. It tastes of pain and parental disappointment. Thank you for the hydration reminder, Wigram. I'm going to need it after this. Thank you for the contribution to the one-off game stream challenge, DJ. The other one of my favourites is SCP-4044-J so ugly. When we ran her through SCP-914, the selection panel said not fine. Like that. But hostess, my beloved. Yeah. I have found exactly one American snack that I like. One. That's Drake's Coffee Cakes, the cinnamon flavoured ones, because cinnamon. And it's just basically, cinnamon crunch on top of a cupcake. How can you fuck that up? And there's something... Why is this redder than my hair? I dyed this fucking last night. That's red. That's more than my hair. That is redder than my hair. That That is furry dick red. That is furry dick red. So Callie isn't a snack. I take my time with Callie. Snacks are over too quickly. Sorry, red. Brain Y. That's dragon dick red. You're not wrong. You're really not wrong, Lydia. Give it a sniff. It smells like coconut. It's coated in coconut flakes, and it tastes, you know. Blasphemous, the game. The blasphemy of that game is it existing. I know the first time I ate one of those, I think it was Q actually said in chat that certain forms of food dye, possibly that one, have been found to be carcinogenic. I think just the existence of those things has taken years off my life, whether it's carcinogenic or not. Christ almighty, that's gross. I only played the free demo, but it was good. I couldn't get to hang with it, get to grips with it. But then again, me and melee focused platform games never get on well. There's exactly one that I've played and enjoyed, and that was Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Was it Circle of the Moon? Yeah. It's like the one Castlevania game that you don't play as a Belmont. So then there's Blasphemous 2 and got both endings. Oh, lovely. So far, my favourite American snack is Hare's Carolina Reaper flavoured cheese curls. That's mostly because I don't count chewing gum as a snack. I have to look at those. Oh, I'll put that as a thing. Check out Hare's Carolina Reaper flavoured cheese curls. That sounds really good to me. I found your first mimic. You won't say where, but mimic. Hey, mimic. I can't be a big toe. Ooh. Let's see. Cramps suck. I really hate when you get a cramp anywhere in your foot, and the only way for you to seemingly fix said cramp is to stretch out your foot as much as possible. And that seems to, stop the cramp from hurting, but at the same time, it's uncomfortable as all fuck to maintain. For the hydration now, thank you, Woodgren. At least there is one saving grace over the snowballs. At least it's very easy to wash that taste out of my mouth. That is the only good thing to be said about the zingers. Is out of everything I've tasted, that's the easiest thing to wash out. Didn't even need tea for it. And let off. Ouch. You let that off at least. But yeah. So that's everything. That is everything today. So thank you all very much for coming along for your support. So greatly appreciate it in whatever way you show and show it. Next stream from me is going to be tonight at 8 PM EST, which is 1 AM BST, where I'm going to be going back to Wasteland 3 as it's RPG Tuesday. And we will actually, we'll be sorting out what stuff that's going on in Denver with the Reagan robot, which is, yeah. Someone on my screen just said, "Winged brother, look at my meat." Well, that's someone propositioning any one of my characters. Well, dragon characters, because after saying my characters, I realise I have several non-dragon OCs. But at the same time, whenever I think of creating a new OC, it comes up as a dragon. Because I've still got to work on that new OC that I've thought of. Which I partially blame Lydia for the existence of. So it could have been worse. Could have been in the back of the car park and you think, oh, that's a bastard. They on Baldur's Gate 3, her nose is tiny. Yeah, you remember, Lydia, when I mentioned to you what would it look like if a dragon had a protogen visor? Or yeah, what you basically get if you cross a dragon with a protogen. That's right in there. And begging to be created properly. So, yeah. That's going on in my mind. But yeah, I'm going to dash off and I'm going to hunt myself some nutsacks. Oh, they say, yeah, the Githyanki have small noses. See, I always want, like, the thing I never actually properly looked into. Sorry about toast tonight. Ooh, nasty. I'm going to have one of the Reaper bags. Ooh, nice. What I never realised, or actually properly looked at, was the first time I heard of anything starting with Gith was when I played Planescape Torment, which is a 1990s RPG made by, I'm very certain, Black Isle, which is now Obsidian. It was very, very good, but you had the Gith Zerai there, and they were pretty awesome, but they were also, you know, very much non-human and very much felt themselves above humanity. Excuse me. And ever seeing the Githyanki coming up in Neverwinter Online and now Baldur's Gate 3, my brain's been like, are they the same? Because I know that the Planescape setting was actually a D&D module at, you know, way ages ago. And I don't know. Which reminds me that there is also the Torment Tides of Numenera game that is on RPG Tuesday to do at some point. Fun. Old, weird, and fun. Yeah. It was a very good game. Very, very weird. Like, there's a mini quest for you getting your eye back from a bar in a pickle jar. If Planescape Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2 to play at some point, I would encourage you playing Baldur's Gate 1, then followed by Baldur's Gate 2, because they actually do have a connected storyline. Planescape Torment, you can play it whenever you like, because it's not linked to anything else as far as I know. Don't think it might be universally linked into Planescape Torment. Not Planescape Torment, Torment Tides of Numenera. Might not be. But that's no problem at all with you. Thanks for coming in as long as you did, and see you later. And yeah, if I don't see people for RPG Tuesday tonight, then the next stream I'll be doing will be on Thursday at the same time as this stream started, which is 11:30 AM EST, which is 4:30 PM BST. And that will be Final Fantasy Thursday, where we are starting brand fresh new with Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, because that's apparently a remastered version. But yeah, that's what I've got. And it will be completely 100% new to me, because I've never played it before. I'll be recognizing certain things because the Stormblood raids from Final Fantasy XIV take place apparently in Final Fantasy XII's universe. So I'll see some familiar things, but I won't know what's going on still because new to me. But until then, though, thank you all again for coming along, for all your support. It's all greatly appreciated. Evilise, yes, that's the one. Yes, it is Evilise, and it's still a bit called Evilise. But yeah. So until then, I'm going to head out. Have yourselves a great rest of your day, a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good night, whatever the time is for you. Till then, though, stay safe, stay amazing. See you later. Bye!